During my internship, the female CEO gave birth to 10 children for me. 3 years ago, Chen Fei, still in college, suffered from his girlfriend's betrayal. He went to a bar to drown his sorrows and unexpectedly met a beautiful woman, spending a wonderful night together. 3 years later, after graduating, Chen Fei finally landed a job at a Fortune 500 company. On his first day of internship, he saw 10 adorable babies waving at him in the office, all calling him Daddy. Stunned by the sight, Chen Fei was frozen in shock. With the appearance of the female CEO, he realized that the beautiful woman he met that night was actually his boss. Chapter 1, Old Chen, Stop Pretending. I told you, he my cousin. What's wrong with me playing games with my cousin at the hotel? Inside a chain hotel, Chen Fei woke up from a nightmare, his ex-girlfriend's words from yesterday still echoing in his mind. While still in college, he bought gifts for her, like bags and phones, working tirelessly as a gamer to earn a meager income. However, yesterday, while ranking up for a client in the game, he unexpectedly matched with a familiar ID. This player, impressed by Chen Fei's skills, kept sending voice messages, flirting and wanting to be friends to rank up together. Upon hearing their voice, Chen Fei confirmed it was his ex-girlfriend, Wang Lu. Just as he was about to reveal his identity, a man's voice came through on her end. Baby, why play games when we're at the hotel? Isn't it better to play with me? Stunned, Chen Fei realized Wang Lu had told him she was going shopping with friends and couldn't play. But now, how could she be in a hotel with a man? Chen Fei opened the voice chat to confront her, only to receive a dismissive reply. Disheartened, he lost the will to play, berating her in the game before heading to a bar to drink the night away. When he woke up, he found himself in a hotel room, the faint scent of a woman lingering, along with a crimson stain on the sheets. Chen Fei splashed cold water on his face to gather his thoughts, recalling that he had met a beautiful woman at the bar, and after drinking too much, they had ended up in bed together, both of them experiencing it for the first time. Reflecting on it, he found the whole situation absurd. 3 years later, Chen Fei graduated from university smoothly. Chen Fei, here's your diploma. Congratulations on your graduation and best wishes for your future. Thank you, teacher. As he received his diploma, Chen Fei felt a wave of disbelief. 4 years of university had flown by so quickly. Once the paperwork was done, he was no longer a student but a newcomer to the workforce. While his roommates secured their dream jobs one by one, he tried to remain calm on the surface, though he felt frantic inside. After receiving his diploma, he stayed up late crafting his resume and applying to various companies on recruitment platforms. Old Chen, stop rushing. Let us go grab some drinks. Who knows when we'll meet again? My biggest regret from college is not having a girlfriend, unlike you, old Chen. Hearing his roommates teasing, Chen Fei forced a smile. Although he had dated, he had also been cheated on. If it weren't for that night at the bar, he might still be a virgin. Suddenly, his phone buzzed. Hello, is this Mr. Chen Fei? A pleasant female voice came through. Chen Fei frowned, confused. Yes, who is this? Hello, Mr. Chen. This is Wang from the Secretariat of Xingtang Group. We received your resume and are very interested in meeting you this afternoon. Chen Fei's expression changed. He couldn't believe he had caught the attention of Xingtang Group, a top 10 Fortune 500 company. As an ordinary graduate, he thought it was a long shot to even apply. Yet here he was, getting a call from them. It felt surreal. His roommates, hearing the call, jumped out of bed in disbelief. Wow, old Chen, that's impressive. You got an offer from Xingtang Group. You're going to hit it big. Seriously, you didn't hide your background from us, did you? Are you a rich kid? Yeah, you always said you were grinding in games, but it was all an act. Seeing their reactions, Chen Fei felt bitter and shook his head. I wish I were a rich kid, but I'm not. Forget it, this might just be a prank call. His roommates quickly searched the number online. When they discovered it was indeed the official number of Xingtang Group's secretariat, they were even more shocked. Old Chen, still denying it. Looks like you're caught. How can it be that a secretary called you instead of HR? Yeah, don't act coy now. I'm truly envious. Chen Fei could only smile wryly, feeling the weight of their scrutiny. Chapter 2, The female CEO gave birth to 10 children. In the afternoon, under the envious gazes of his roommates, Chen Fei left the school and arrived at the Xingtang Group building. Looking up at the towering structure, over 100 meters high with 88 floors, he still found it hard to believe that he had really caught the attention of Xingtang Group. Moreover, a secretary had personally called to invite him. Why was this happening? Filled with questions, Chen Fei entered the company lobby and headed toward the elevators. He mentally prepared himself to perform well in the interview and secure a position as a formal employee. Just as he was waiting, he heard a series of gasps behind him. Curious, he turned around and was stunned by the sight before him. 10 luxurious, custom-made baby strollers were being pushed through the company entrance in an orderly fashion. The scene was quite shocking. The babies inside were adorable, with fair skin, round faces, bright eyes, and cute mouths that giggled sweetly. Chen Fei rubbed his eyes, thinking it felt unreal. How could such a prestigious company like Xingtang Group suddenly have so many babies? Not just one, but 10. He thought he was just nervous and imagining things. Aren't they cute? All of these are our chairman's children. A young woman next to him smiled widely at the approaching babies. You mean all 10 of them? Chen Fei asked, incredulous. The babies looked roughly the same age, and it seemed impossible for one person to give birth to them all at once. The young woman saw through his confusion and patiently explained, yes, they are all the chairman's kids, 5 boys and 5 girls. Isn't he that impressive? Our chairman is extraordinary. Not only is his business thriving, but he is also incredibly efficient at having children, surpassing several years' worth of KPIs in just 1 year. She spoke with pride, clearly inspired by the chairman. Chen Fei was utterly shocked. So you're saying all 10 babies are from your chairman? He felt a twitch at the corner of his mouth, struggling to process the information. They all look the same age. Are they 10 siblings? Yes, exactly 10 siblings. Isn't it surprising? But with our chairman's abilities, having 10 at once isn't that strange? Besides, a regular family could never afford to raise so many kids. But our chairman is worth trillions. Raising 10 babies is as easy as drinking water. I just wonder who their father is. His genes are really something. As she spoke, the young woman's face glowed with admiration, seemingly wishing to find that man and have a few babies of her own. After all, giving birth to 10 at once was not something just any man could do. Seeing the mischievous smile on her face, Chen Fei felt a chill. Just then, 10 luxurious baby strollers rolled toward the elevators. The moment the babies inside spotted Chen Fei, they became lively, like piglets seeing their mother after a long time. Among them, an incredibly adorable girl reached out her chubby little hand, beaming with excitement. She pointed at Chen Fei, calling out in a sweet voice, "Daddy, Daddy." "He is my daddy. Mama said I'd meet him today, and Tang Tang really did. Auntie, I want to go to Daddy. I want a hug." The 10 babies, upon seeing Chen Fei, started babbling excitedly. The girl, named Tang Tang, was the first to recognize him and eagerly told her nanny. Soon, the 5 boys realized who he was. No wonder this man looked so familiar. He was their daddy. He is pretty handsome. But still not as good looking as me. His mouth looks like ours, and his eyes too, but he is a bad man. He abandoned Mama, who is so beautiful. We can't let him have her. He must regret it. The 5 boys seemed to have united in a goal, not to let this bad man easily win their mother back. At that moment, Chen Fei felt overwhelmed, hearing 10 babies simultaneously calling him daddy. 4 girls, led by Tang Tang, ran out of their strollers, gathering at his feet, chattering about wanting hugs. The 5 boys stayed in their strollers, pouting and giving him disapproving looks, clearly displeased with him. Seeing this scene left Chen Fei utterly confused. Just graduated from university, and now he was surrounded by 10 babies calling him daddy. What was going on? While he struggled to comprehend the situation, a mechanical voice suddenly rang in his head. Ding! The all-purpose baby system is binding. As this is your first time having children, please remember to nurture them with patience and love. Stunned, Chen Fei quickly snapped back to reality. He knew about systems, but what was this baby system? System, are you kidding me? You mean to say these 10 babies are mine? He couldn't believe his thoughts. The system replied, yes, host. These 10 babies share 99% of your genetic makeup. They are your biological children. Chen Fei was taken aback, feeling puzzled. During college, he only dated Wang Lu, and they hadn't even kissed. How could he possibly have kids? After their breakup, he had stayed single, not even having female friends, how could he have children? Could it be that woman? Suddenly, he recalled that night at the bar, meeting a beautiful woman while drowning his sorrows after discovering his girlfriend's infidelity. They had unexpectedly spent a wonderful night together, but when he woke up, she was gone. Could it be that the woman he met that night was the mother of these 10 babies? And she was also the CEO of Xingtang Group. My God. This was too absurd. Chapter 3, no need for interviews, but certificates are necessary. As Chen Fei reminisced, several black Maybachs suddenly pulled up at the company entrance. The doors swung open, revealing a group of stunning female bodyguards clad in black leather, their presence commanding attention. Then, a pair of long, fair legs stepped out from the lead Maybach. The woman who emerged wore a professional suit and exuded a high cold aura. She was the chairperson of Xingtang Group, Tang Qingyang. The previously agitated babies around Chen Fei became even more excited. Mommy! Daddy is here! They waved at the woman, and Chen Fei immediately understood this breathtaking beauty was indeed the mother of the 10 babies. Ding! The all-purpose baby system has been successfully bound. As a first-time binding reward, you receive a starter gift package. Congratulations, host! You've gained the 3D data eye feature, allowing you to view various data about others and their affinity towards you, making you a more versatile dad. As the system's voice faded, Chen Fei felt as if a transparent film had enveloped his eyes. He quickly adjusted, and as Tang Qingyang approached, data began appearing before him. Name, Tang Qingyang. Appearance, 100 points. Affinity, 46%. Hobbies, work, running, reading. Personality, cold exterior, kind-hearted, meticulous at work, patient with children. While observing her data, he suddenly felt a hostile gaze. Turning, he saw one of the boys in the stroller glaring at him, as if protecting their mother. Name, Xian. Appearance, 100 points. Affinity, 10%. Hobbies, sleeping, playing with toy guns, drinking milk. Personality, sensitive and cautious, clever little pig who loves to sleep in. Seeing his son's negative affinity made Chen Fei's mouth twitch. System, how can the affinity be negative? Host, a negative affinity indicates hostility towards you. You need to use your love and patience to resolve the conflict. Chen Fei's expression darkened. He glanced at the 5 girls and noticed their affinities were all positive over 60, even higher than Tang Qingyang's. It seemed little girls were much more considerate. Why did he have to deal with a son who was already adversarial? He'd have to buy him a house and save for a bride price in the future. HMPH. But don't worry, with this system, they'll all call me daddy obediently. Chen Fei said confidently, a determined grin on his face. With the baby system at his disposal, Chen Fei felt a surge of confidence. After all, how else could he face the situation of suddenly being responsible for 10 kids right after graduating? Chen Fei, can we talk? I'd like you to come with me, Tang Qingyang said softly, her high heels clicking as she approached him. Chen Fei was taken aback. He had expected the formidable CEO to be cold or scornful, but she was surprisingly gentle, asking rather than commanding. Sure. He replied, eager to discuss the babies. After all, they were his kids too. Leaving the children with the nanny, he followed Tang Qingyang into the elevator to the top floor of the building. As they departed, the lobby erupted with chatter. Wow! That guy is the father of the octuplets. He is so handsome. No wonder the CEO noticed him. Did you see? Tang just smiled at him. Is this what love looks like? One of the nearby women, who had been waiting for the elevator with Chen Fei, felt a pang of regret as she watched them leave. At the top floor. In the CEO's office, as soon as Chen Fei sat on the couch, Tang Qingyang asked, "Did you bring your household register?" "Oh?" He responded, confused. "Is it required for an interview now?" She chuckled, "Not for the interview, but it is needed for the marriage certificate." Her words hit Chen Fei like a bolt from the blue. "Kids need a father," she continued, her tone serious. "You wouldn't want them growing up in a single-parent household, would you?" He fell silent, still reeling from the unexpected events of the day. He had just graduated, gotten an offer from Xingtang Group, and now he was being asked to marry the CEO. This was more twisted than anything he had experienced in his 20-something years. The idea of marriage hadn't even crossed his mind, especially after being betrayed by his ex-girlfriend. Seeing him hesitate, Tang Qingyang moved closer, her voice tinged with longing. Are you really not going to take responsibility? I struggled alone to raise these 10 kids, and. Okay. Chen Fei interrupted, suddenly decisive. Let us get married. He realized how fortunate he was to meet a woman like her, who had gone through so much. To let her down would be inexcusable. Chapter 4, The life of the rich is so enjoyable. However, there was one thing Chen Fei needed to clarify. Miss Tang, can you tell me why? Just call me Qingyang, or Yang Yang, don't call me Miss Tang. She interrupted. Alright, Qingyang. Can you tell me why you chose to have the baby after the unexpected pregnancy, especially since? Chen Fei didn't elaborate too much. After all, they had been caught up in the moment that night. It didn't make sense to have a child when neither knew who their father was. He was genuinely curious and felt it necessary to ask before heading to the registry office. 3 years ago, when I found out I was unexpectedly pregnant, I did consider terminating the pregnancy, she began. Because that night, I wasn't drunk, I had been drugged. I thought you were sent by a competitor to threaten me. But later, I had someone investigate you and found out you were just a university student. That night was just a beautiful accident, so I decided to keep the baby. Tang Qingyang spoke candidly about her past. After hearing this, Chen Fei nodded, feeling a bit guilty for her bravery. Actually, that night, I was heartbroken because my girlfriend cheated on me. Tang Qingyang placed a comforting hand over his mouth. You don't have to be sad. I know everything now. You have me and 10 little ones, you will be happy in the future. Chen Fei had already come to terms with the situation, he wasn't truly sad. After all, why should he be upset over someone who didn't appreciate him? He wouldn't be a doormat for anyone. Looking at the stunning, curvaceous CEO before him, he couldn't help but compliment, Qingyang, after having 10 kids, I can't believe your figure hasn't changed at all. You're still incredibly alluring. Hearing this made Tang Qingyang recall the intense moments of that night, causing her cheeks to flush. Knock, knock, knock. A sudden, untimely knock on the door startled her. She quickly distanced herself from Chen Fei, straightened her posture, and opened the door. At the entrance stood 5 toddlers, their faces serious. They marched in and stared at Chen Fei behind Tang Qingyang, speaking in their baby voices. HMPH. I knew it, closing the door means trouble. Don't be scared, mommy. We're here to save you. Want to hit on my mom? No way. Exactly. Not happening. Tang Qingyang was at a loss for words, while Chen Fei found their antics amusing. He playfully leaned closer to Tang Qingyang, putting an arm around her shoulder, and grinned at the little ones. Hey, kids, stop it. Daddy is going to get a marriage certificate with mommy. We'll take a family photo together. This bad guy is taking advantage of mommy. One of the kids suddenly shrieked. Before he could finish, another quickly covered his mouth. You idiot. Don't shout so loud. The people outside will hear. Understanding his mistake, the boy nodded obediently, and his sibling released him. Sixth treasure then turned back to Chen Fei, glaring fiercely. Let go of my mommy. She won't marry a bad guy like you. We don't want a family photo with you. Right, we don't want this bad dad. Don't call him dad. He's not our dad. The 8th child, realizing his mistake, quickly covered his mouth with chubby little hands, as if trying to take back his words. Listening to their conversation, Chen Fei couldn't help but laugh. He chose to ignore them, confident that once they got to know him, they would end up calling him dad on their knees. Our little treasures are so cute. He exclaimed. Qingyang, let us go to the Civil Affairs Bureau and get our certificate. Okay. Though Tang Qingyang felt a bit uneasy with Chen Fei's closeness, she couldn't show it in front of the kids. If she did, they would surely take advantage of the situation to voice even more discontent about him. So she allowed him to wrap an arm around her as they gathered the 5 girls and headed to the underground parking lot. At the Xingtang Group, the parking spaces for employees and the CEO were separate. The first and second basement levels were designated for employees, while the entire third basement was exclusively reserved for Tang Qingyang. Since she brought her 10 babies to work, having a mixed parking area could lead to accidents, which posed a danger to the little ones. Therefore, Tang Qingyang dedicated the entire third basement as her private parking area. She truly put a lot of thought into ensuring the safety of her children. The spacious parking area resembled an underground palace, exuding luxury and elegance. Strikingly, only one car was parked there. In most places, that would feel empty and somewhat eerie, but not here. Besides a few marked parking spots, the rest of the area had been transformed into a children's playground, adorned with various toys and cartoon posters. Every amusement facility one could think of was available, making it a dazzling sight. The floor was covered in pure wool carpets to cushion any falls during playtime. Rather than a parking garage, it felt more like a luxurious children's amusement park. Chen Fei's attention then shifted to the lone vehicle. The emblem confirmed it was indeed a Rolls-Royce, yet it was enormous, capable of accommodating all 10 babies without issue. Chen Fei had never seen this model before. Was it custom made for Tang Qingyang? This is a nanny car specially crafted for me by the Rolls-Royce headquarters, Tang Qingyang explained with a smile, sensing Chen Fei's curiosity. You know, regular nanny cars simply can't fit all 10 babies. Hearing this, Chen Fei couldn't help but marvel. The life of the wealthy is indeed enviable. To have Rolls-Royce make a custom nanny car just for her, such a privilege likely only Tang Qingyang possessed. Impressive. No wonder she was the mother of his children. Chapter 5, truly powerful, just like their father. Beep beep. Tang Qingyang pulled out the car key and pressed it, causing the massive Rolls-Royce to respond, its doors slowly opening without any effort on her part. Luxury cars truly have their perks. Wait. Why is Liu Bao's toy car blocking the way? Move it, or we won't be able to get out. Just as she was about to step inside, she noticed the small toy car obstructing the vehicle. She leaned down to move it aside, having gotten used to handling such tasks after 2 years of raising kids alone. At that moment, Chen Fei caught her hand and smiled. Let the man handle this. He bent down to shift the toy car aside. Ding! Detected host is in contact with Liu Bao's toy car. Would you like to activate your knowledge of automobiles? Chen Fei paused. It can do that. Yes, the system's main function is to assist you in parenting. It can elevate your knowledge on all baby-related topics to their highest level, fully empowering you to become an all-around dad. Laughing internally, Chen Fei felt elated. Initially, he thought receiving a 3D data was impressive. He never expected this system had such capabilities. Silently urging it, he thought, activate now. As soon as he finished thinking, a wealth of automotive knowledge flooded his mind, everything from car mechanics to maintenance and driving techniques. After absorbing this information, he felt like a car expert, ready to join an F1 race. When he opened his eyes again, he could dissect the toy car into countless parts. In his view, no vehicle held secrets anymore. This car has some brake issues, he remarked, stroking his chin seriously. How do you know? Liu Bao, initially tense about his toy, perked up in surprise. I can tell just by looking. Chen Fei replied with confidence, turning to Tang Qingyang. Do you have tools to fix toy cars? You can fix cars. A few days ago, Liu Bao's toy car had broken, and Tang Qingyang had planned to call someone to repair it. Now, Chen Fei claimed he could fix it. Of course. Minor repairs are a breeze. If your car has any issues in the future, just call me. The system had not only maxed out his driving skills but also his automotive repair abilities. For Chen Fei, fixing this toy car was a piece of cake. Really? You can fix cars? Tang Qingyang was shocked again. 3 years ago, after their encounter, she had investigated Chen Fei's background, discovering he studied financial management and didn't even own a car during college. Did he want to impress the kids with a heroic father image? But that didn't add up. If he wasn't knowledgeable, how could he have identified the brake problem? Still puzzled, Tang Qingyang retrieved basic repair tools from the storage room and handed them to Chen Fei. As he prepared to fix the toy car, all 10 babies gathered around. The 5 boys were curious if he could actually repair it, while the 5 girls wanted to see their dad in action, believing he was capable of anything. Dad, you're amazing. Who knew you could fix cars? If mine breaks down, I want you to fix it. The eldest, Tang, beamed, her voice sweet. Daddy's the best. 3 Treasure, the third child, added, praising him. Boys are mean, only saying bad things about Dad. Dad is 100 times better than them. Sweetie, the 5th child, chimed in, pouting at her brothers. Among the 10, the odd-numbered ones were girls, while the even-numbered were boys, a pattern Chen Fei used to remember them. Not fixed yet, so how do you know he can? Liu Bao muttered, unable to hide his skepticism. Liu Bao, call him dad. He is not a bad guy, he is a good man. Three Treasure corrected Liu Bao in her clumsy Mandarin. Hearing the doubt from his kids made Chen Fei chuckle internally. Just wait until I fix this car, you'll all be calling me dad in no time. Chen Fei picked up the tools and began repairing the toy car, explaining its mechanics to the kids as he worked. Upon opening the toy, he discovered the brake issue stemmed from worn brake pads causing system failure. All it needed was a simple replacement. Finding new brake pads, he installed them, and soon the toy car's braking system was restored to normal. Watching Chen Fei's deft movements, all 10 little ones were in awe, especially the 5 girls whose eyes sparkled with admiration. Did you all understand what I just explained? He asked, not really expecting a response from the 2-year-olds. But to his surprise, Liu Bao nodded confidently. I got it. Next time my car has brake issues, I can change the brake pads too. Second Treasure also chimed in with a nod, and the other boys followed suit, showing they understood. This unexpected moment amazed Chen Fei. Their ability to grasp the concept was impressive. Truly, they were his kids, strong and capable. Chapter 6, you say you're getting married too? On their way to the Civil Affairs Bureau, Chen Fei was driving while Tang Qingyang was supposed to sit in the back to look after the 10 babies. However, the 5 boys suggested she sit in the front passenger seat because they wanted to whisper among themselves. Meanwhile, the 5 little girls, exhausted from playing, had fallen asleep in their seats. The boys began their whispered conversation. I can't shake the feeling that this guy is biased. He is great with the girls but treats us badly, said Bao Bao, glancing at Chen Fei and then back at the sleeping sisters. Liu Bao pouted and nodded vigorously, yeah. He definitely favors the girls. Us sons feel like we're being raised by a stepfather. Quietly, Shabao chimed in to defend Chen Fei, I think dad is pretty nice. He just helped Liu Ji fix his toy car. Before he could finish, Bao punched him lightly, don't call him dad. He only did that to show off in front of the girls. He definitely prefers them. Saibao clenched his fists and declared, that's right. We, the 5 brothers, must unite and resist this guy. Brotherly unity, echoed Bao Bao, as the 5 little boys stacked their tiny hands together and shouted their slogan. Unbeknownst to them, Chen Fei could hear everything they said. Wow, look at my little boys plotting against their old man. I'll have to teach them a lesson when the time is right. Meanwhile, in a college dormitory, several roommates were gathered around, discussing a post on their phones. Wow, Wang Lu is getting married to Zhao Junjie. One exclaimed. Not only did she show off her marriage certificate, but she also made a snarky post on social media about it. Another added. She wrote something about finding the right person and being a bride every day, thankful she didn't make a mistake 3 years ago. If old Chen sees this, he is going to be heartbroken. Wang Lu is such a nasty piece of work. She was with old Chen just to get close to his buddy Zhao Junjie. And this Zhao is a real piece of work, going after his friend's girl like that. Seriously. What does he even have? Just his family's money. Unlike our old Chen, who has got an offer from the Xingtang group. If he aces this interview, a 6-figure salary is within reach. Then Wang Lu will be the one crying. Speaking of which, I wonder how old Chen is doing. Did he pass the interview? Let us call him. One said as they dialed Chen Fei's number. As Chen Fei was driving, he heard his phone ring and was about to check it when Tang Qingyang gently took the phone from him. You focus on driving, I'll connect it to the Bluetooth. Chen Fei smiled at her, you're so thoughtful. Driving while checking a phone is indeed dangerous, especially with 10 babies in the car. When Tang Qingyang heard him call her wife, her face flushed. She felt a warm sensation in her heart, almost wanting him to say it again. She realized she might be falling in love. Once connected, she pressed the answer button, and the voices of his roommates came through. Old Chen, how did the interview go? Did you pass? Chen Fei glanced at Tang Qingyang and smiled, of course I did. I'm heading to the Civil Affairs Bureau right now. What? You're going to the Civil Affairs Bureau? Wait, did you find out that Wang Lu and Zhao Junjie are getting their marriage certificate? Old Chen, don't do anything rash. There's no need to confront them over this couple. Don't get yourself in trouble. Right. There are plenty of fish in the sea. Now that you're in Xingtang Group, what kind of women can't you find? Just come back, let us drink tonight until we drop. Hearing that Chen Fei was going to the Civil Affairs Bureau, his friends became frantic, thinking he was going there to confront Wang Lu and Zhao Junjie. Chen Fei paused for a moment, then it dawned on him. So, Wang Lu and Zhao Junjie were getting married today. Seems like fate had a sense of humor. 3 years ago, her betrayal had led to his serendipitous encounter with Tang Qingyang. Now, 3 years later, they were both heading for marriage. What a twist. Old Chen, why are you so quiet? Seriously, don't do anything stupid. Where are you? We'll come find you. Yeah, impulsiveness is a bad idea, old Chen. Chen Fei snapped back to reality, smiling as he replied, thanks for your concern, brothers, but my visit to the Civil Affairs Bureau has nothing to do with Wang Lu. I'm getting my marriage certificate with my wife. The roommates were stunned into silence for a moment. What? You're getting married too? You're not just marrying someone on a whim because of what happened with Wang Lu, right? Brother, marriage is a serious matter. Chuckling, Chen Fei clarified, guys, let me be honest, my wife just had 10 kids for me. For the sake of these kids, I need to get married. And my wife isn't just anyone, she is the chairwoman of Xingtang Group, Tang Qingyang. Understanding that his friends were genuinely concerned, he didn't keep them in suspense, laying it all out. After hearing this, there was a long pause on the other end of the line. Wait, what? Old Chen said his bride is Tang Qingyang, the chairwoman of Xingtang Group. You heard right. And he just said she has given him 10 kids and needs to get married. My gosh. Dude, you went for an interview and came back with a wife. This is insane. Old Chen, go get that certificate. We won't keep you any longer. Don't forget to treat us tonight, and congrats on your new marriage. But, wait, since you have 10 kids, maybe hold off on the next one for now. Bye, old Chen. Hurry to the Civil Affairs Bureau. With that, they hung up, eager not to say anything more that might complicate things. Chapter 7, Unexpected Encounter with an Ex-Girlfriend. After hanging up the phone, the three roommates sighed in relief. Half a minute later, they exchanged glances, each seeing shock in the other's eyes. Oh my god, old Chen is impressive. If I'm not mistaken, the chairwoman of Xingtang Group is only 26 and has never had any scandals. Even her competitors can't find dirt on her. When did she and old Chen get together? You're missing the point. The real shock is that old Chen somehow got Tang Qingyang to have 10 kids for him. 10 kids? What does that even mean? Is Tang Qingyang really that fertile? Old Chen's genes must be amazing. Wait, do you think it's possible old Chen is just lying to us? Maybe he didn't pass his interview and found out about Wang Lu getting married. To cope, he exaggerated everything to fool us into not stopping him. Realization dawned on the roommates. Right. How could the chairwoman of a trillion-yuan group go to the Civil Affairs Bureau with old Chen? And 10 kids. That's beyond ridiculous. Especially since old Chen had just graduated. They had spent 4 years with him in college. He didn't have time to be making babies with a CEO. Old Chen is definitely lying. He is probably trying to stir up trouble for Wang Lu, making up this story to keep us from intervening. Let us hurry to the Civil Affairs Bureau. If he gets into a fight with Zhao Junjie, what if he ends up in the hospital? Meanwhile, Chen Fei was driving with Tang Qingyang and the 10 babies, arriving at the Civil Affairs Bureau. As the 10 adorable little ones emerged, everyone inside turned to look. Most people there were newlyweds, and upon seeing the 10 cute infants, they lit up, wishing they could take one home. Oh my god, am I seeing this right? 10 babies? And 5 daughters and 5 sons. Each one cuter than the last. I'm so jealous. I want to have one with my husband. I need to take a video to show off on social media. Today is my lucky day. I saw a set of 10. Seriously, it's infuriating. My husband barely helps, and I haven't had a baby in 6 months. That little stud over there is impressive. Faced with all the praise, the 10 babies seemed unfazed and remained calm. Daddy, I'm thirsty. I want some water. At that moment, Wubwa tugged at Chen Fei's pants, looking up at him with wide eyes. Chen Fei smiled, ruffling her hair. Okay, Daddy will get you some water. Turning to Tang Qingyang, he said, Honey, I've got our number. Wait for me here while I grab some drinks for the kids. Okay. Tang Qingyang nodded obediently. Today, the Civil Affairs Bureau was crowded, and they'd likely have to wait half an hour for their turn. After briefing Tang Qingyang, Chen Fei left the bureau and headed to a nearby convenience store. At the cooler, he grabbed 12 bottles of mineral water and placed them on the counter. "How much for the water?" he asked the young cashier with a smile. "2 yuan a bottle, so that's 24 in total." The cashier couldn't help but admire Chen Fei's good looks. "Hey handsome, why are you buying so much water?" "Oh, it's for the kids." Chen Fei replied, then added, 10 kids. With that many kids, everything had to be multiplied by 10, and his wallet wasn't very forgiving. But luckily, he had a wealthy wife. With her assets, it'd be hard to spend all that money in a lifetime. "What? 10 kids? Oh, I get it. You're buying for your relatives' kids, right?" The cashier thought he looked too young, freshly graduated from college, so it was unlikely he was married. If he was married, wasn't she flirting with a married man? "No, they are all my kids. They are 10 siblings. And with my wife, that makes 12 of us." As he spoke, he paid via a QR code, grabbed 6 bottles of water, and left the store. The cashier stood there, dumbfounded. 10 siblings. That's incredible. Watching Chen Fei walk away, she couldn't help but marvel. On their way back, Chen Fei was in high spirits. Marrying Tang Qingyang and having 10 adorable babies made him feel immensely happy. He hadn't realized it before, but after boasting a bit at the convenience store, he felt a strong sense of pride in being a father. Chen Fei. What are you doing with all those water bottles? I warn you, don't mess around. I have nothing to do with you anymore. Today is my big day with Junjie, so don't cause any trouble. It was his ex-girlfriend, Wang Lu. As Chen Fei passed a restaurant next to the Civil Affairs Bureau, Wang Lu had just finished her meal with Zhao Junjie after getting their marriage certificate. Seeing Chen Fei approaching with the water bottles made her tense up, thinking he was there to confront her. Without hesitation, she warned him. Seeing Wang Lu stand in front of Zhao Junjie, afraid he might throw water at her man, Chen Fei laughed. He waved dismissively, as if shooing a fly, and said, "Where did this pest come from? Why are you so smelly?" Chen Fei genuinely didn't understand what Wang Lu was thinking. It had been 3 years, and she still fantasized that he'd be devoted to her. Knowing she was getting married and still causing a scene at the Civil Affairs Bureau? Did he really seem that worthless? With that time, wouldn't it be better to spend time with his own daughters? Plus, those bottles of water cost 2 yuan each. Wasn't he throwing them at this couple a bit wasteful? Wang Lu's expression shifted at his words, and she wanted to retort. But before she could say anything, Chen Fei pushed past her, continuing toward the Civil Affairs Bureau. Chapter 8, What's up with calling me husband? As Chen Fei turned around, Wang Lu noticed he still looked as handsome as he did 3 years ago, but now he exuded the charm of a mature man. In contrast, she felt she had aged significantly after 3 years of indulgence. She instinctively turned her head and saw a little girl dash out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, leaping into Chen Fei's arms, calling out, "Daddy, I want water." Wang Lu froze. Her first thought was how adorable the child was and that she wished to have one like her. Then it hit her, this little girl called Chen Fei Daddy? Was she his child? While Wang Lu was lost in thought, Chen Fei opened a bottle of water and handed it to Guogua, who held it but looked curiously at Wang Lu. "Daddy, why is that cleaning lady staring at us?" Wang Lu felt as if she'd been struck by lightning. A cleaning lady. Hearing that from a little child made her doubt her own appearance. Chen Fei hadn't expected his daughter to be so clever and even poke fun at Wang Lu and Zhao Junjie. Guogua pouted and continued, "Daddy, that cleaning lady seems a bit upset." "Did I say something wrong? But I was just complimenting her. After all, our cleaning lady dresses even better than she does. Should I call her the poop scooping lady? Would she be mad if I did?" Hearing this, Chen Fei chuckled. "No, she's just the poop scooping lady, but she has a fancier title, public restroom." "What's a public restroom? Is that somewhere everyone can go?" Guogua asked innocently. "Yes." Chen Fei replied, smiling. Chen Fei. Wang Lu, hearing their conversation, was furious, her face turning green as she ground her teeth. This little girl was obviously an actress. Dressed so exquisitely with styled hair, she couldn't possibly be Chen Fei's child. If he could afford to raise a child like this, she wouldn't have cheated back then. Suddenly, Wang Lu felt more confident and looked at Chen Fei with disdain. A simp is a simp. Even knowing she was married, he still found a little actress to make himself regret it. HMPH. She would fall for that. Just then, a tall, elegant beauty emerged from the Civil Affairs Bureau. "Excuse me, miss," she said, her voice sweet yet commanding. "What's the matter with you calling my husband's name?" Wang Lu instinctively looked up, seeing the cool beauty in a professional outfit, strutting in high heels, exuding elegance. At that moment, the beauty looked down at her. "Why are you calling us daddy? Are you here to apply for cleaning lady position in our house? But you're too ugly to match our family's style. We don't want you." At that moment, Tang Tang, along with her siblings, also stepped out. The 10 little ones surrounded Chen Fei, all staring curiously, disdainfully, and judgmentally at the so-called cleaning lady, Wang Lu. Wang Lu was shocked beyond words, frozen in place. Beside her, Zhao Junjie sensed something was off as he noticed Tang Qingyang and the 10 chubby children. He often attended business events with his father and had seen many high society people. Those individuals had an unmistakable air of distinction. The woman beside Chen Fei radiated authority, clearly someone of significance. And those 10 well-fed, well-dressed children. Zhao Junjie felt a wave of anxiety. His father had taught him that it was fine to bully the poor, but he must always flatter the rich, lest they offend someone powerful. Otherwise, the entire Zhao family would be in trouble. When Wang Lu came knocking, he never considered Chen Fei's feelings and immediately took her to a hotel for 3 days, thinking Chen Fei was just a broke loser. But now, President Tang. Just as Zhao Junjie was about to leave with Wang Lu, he heard his father's voice from behind. They had just eaten at a restaurant, and while he and Wang Lu went to the parking lot, his parents were settling the bill. When they came out, they were stunned by the scene. His father rushed over, fawning all over Tang Qingyang, bowing deeply. "President Tang, what a surprise to see you here. It's our honor." Zhao Junjie's mother quickly followed. "President Tang, long time no see. You still look stunning. Who would guess you've had 10 children?" Seeing their obsequiousness, Zhao Junjie was petrified. His parents were treating her with such respect, meaning the woman beside Chen Fei, President Tang, was of an incredibly high status. It was beyond anything he could imagine. He had never seen his parents act this way before. Even their flattery was usually polite business etiquette, but this was sincere. You flatter me." Tang Qingyang replied coldly. Zhao Junjie's parents continued chatting with her, then noticed Chen Fei beside her. "President Tang, who's this handsome young man?" Tang Qingyang looked at Chen Fei softly and said, "He's my husband." Zhao Junjie's parents were momentarily stunned, then they covered their mouths, exclaiming exaggeratedly, "Oh my! President Tang, your husband is so handsome, he's even better looking than those male celebrities." Tang Qingyang ignored them and walked directly toward Wang Lu, making her look even more like a plain duckling in comparison. Tang Qingyang glanced at the disheveled Wang Lu and said coldly, "Ms. Wang, I know you are Chen Fei's ex-girlfriend. However, you are married now, and I am about to get a marriage certificate with Chen Fei, so I hope you will no longer bother him or harbor any unrealistic thoughts. Furthermore, a woman like you is simply unworthy of Chen Fei. Just give up on this foolish notion." Chapter 9. What I want you to get now is a divorce certificate. After Tang Qingyang finished speaking, she took Chen Fei and the 10 little ones into the Civil Affairs Bureau. Zhao's parents watched them leave with awe, standing like ancient eunuchs until they disappeared from sight. Only then did they dare to relax. At that moment, Wang Lu approached, asking the question that weighed heavily on her mind, "Mom, who exactly is President Tang?" Zhao's parents shot her a cold glance, choosing to ignore her and continuing their conversation. Who would have thought President Tang's husband would be so handsome, and such strong genes that they have 10 kids? Zhao's mother remarked. "Right. Luckily, I recognized President Tang in time." Zhao's father replied. "How did I do just now?" Zhao's mother asked. "Good." Zhao Junjie felt a bit frustrated as he watched his parents gossip, completely dismissing Wang Lu. Meanwhile, she wished she could slap herself. It was clear now that Tang Qingyang held significant status. She had seen Zhao Junjie's parents before, and their cold attitude towards her contrasted starkly with their fawning over Tang Qingyang. The disparity chilled her heart. She felt like she and Tang Qingyang were from 2 different worlds. And now, that kind of woman was married to Chen Fei. It was unbelievable. Just then, Zhao's father coldly glanced at Wang Lu and said to his son, "Shao Jie, since we're at the Civil Affairs Bureau, you and Wang Lu should go inside and handle the paperwork. Dad, Lulu and I are already married. Zhao Junjie reminded him, thinking his father was unaware. I know. What I want you to get now is a divorce certificate. Zhao's father replied. Why? Zhao Junjie was dumbfounded. Even Wang Lu was taken aback, putting on a pitiful expression and looking at Zhao's father. Dad, why? Zhao's father remained indifferent. Don't call me dad. I don't have a daughter-in-law like you. Shao Jie, why are you still dawdling? This woman has offended President Tang. Do you want our family's business to go downhill? Go get that divorce certificate now. Zhao Junjie hesitated, saying unenthusiastically, Dad, that Chen Fei is just a good-for-nothing living off women, right? Maybe one day, President Tang will kick him to the curb. You don't have to let me divorce Lulu just because of that loser. Smack. Zhao's father slapped Zhao Junjie hard across the face. Even his mother, who usually spoiled him, didn't defend him now. Good slap. If I had done that, he'd still be confused. She chimed in. Zhao Junjie, you think that loser is just a good-for-nothing? Do you know who President Tang is? She is the daughter of the Tang family, the chairwoman of the Xingtang Group, a billionaire CEO. She is marrying Chen Fei because they have 10 kids together. Do you think she would casually kick him to the curb? Stop wasting my time and go get that divorce certificate. Otherwise, I'll disown you. Zhao's father pointed at Zhao Junjie, exasperated. Right. Zhao's mother echoed loudly. If you don't divorce, we'll sever all ties. After being slapped, Zhao Junjie finally came to his senses. He had never imagined President Tang would be so important. Not only was she a Tang family heiress, but she was also the chairwoman of the Xingtang Group. And she had 10 adorable kids with Chen Fei. If Chen Fei married her, he would hold half the shares of Xingtang Group. He could bring the Zhao family to ruin with just a snap of his fingers. He and Chen Fei were originally friends, but everything had gone wrong because of Wang Lu. Realizing this, Zhao Junjie felt immense regret. He turned to glare at Wang Lu, the source of all his troubles. If she had seduced him 3 years ago, none of this would have happened. Smack. Zhao Junjie slapped Wang Lu and forcefully dragged her into the Civil Affairs Bureau, growling, "Let us go get that divorce certificate." Inside the Civil Affairs Bureau, marriage and divorce services were in separate areas, so Chen Fei wouldn't run into Zhao Junjie and Wang Lu. Sitting on a chair, Chen Fei opened water bottles one by one for the kids, then handed one to Tang Qingyang, praising, "Honey, you looked really cool just now." Tang Qingyang smiled, a blush creeping onto her cheeks. Chen Fei noticed this and asked, "Honey, do you think they think I'm living off you? After all, I don't have a car, a house, or much savings." While drinking water, he casually observed Tang Qingyang's expression. Honestly, he knew her decision to marry him wasn't a spur-of-the-moment choice. After all, 3 years ago, after their encounter, she had even investigated him. What puzzled him was why she chose him knowing he was just an ordinary guy. Was it because he was too handsome? He didn't ask, knowing that time would reveal the truth. In response to his question, Tang Qingyang took a sip of water and said seriously, "I don't think you marrying me means you're living off me. You've never asked me for money, and after we marry, my money becomes your money, that's the law. So if anyone dares to say you're living off me, I'll send them a lawyer's letter. Our Xingtang Group has the best legal team in the country, and I'll make sure they pay." As she said the last part, a fierce aura radiated from her. Chen Fei was taken aback, then smiled, "Honey, you're so good to me." Hearing this, Tang Qingyang's gaze softened, and a romantic atmosphere enveloped them. The nearby little ones all widened their eyes. "Wow, Dad and Mom are spreading dog food. I finally got to eat Mom's dog food. How lemony!" exclaimed Da Bao Tang Tang, clapping her little hands. "What's dog food?" Guogua asked, puzzled. "Dog food is what dogs eat. But why is Sister Tang Tang eating dog food? Won't the dog go hungry?" asked Ba Bao, scratching her head in confusion. "Dummies. Don't you get it? When they show off their love, we call it spreading dog food," Six Bao said with an air of seriousness. "Oh, I see. Then I want to eat Daddy and Mommy's dog food too." Guogua pretended to eat like a little pig, looking adorable. She felt that her parents showing love meant they had a great relationship, which made her happy. Chapter 10, Lao Chen, You're My Living Godfather. After getting their marriage certificate, Chen Fei went to the parking lot to get his car, preparing to pick up his kids and wife. Suddenly, his phone rang. It was his roommate, Da Zhuang. As soon as the call connected, Da Zhuang's voice came through. Lao Chen, something strange just happened. Zhao Junjie transferred a sum of money to me, saying you blocked him and wanted me to pass the money to you. Do you know how much it is? 50,000. What does this dog want? He also mentioned a party at AK Bar this Sunday, inviting you to attend, where he plans to apologize to you in front of the whole class. And I heard he divorced Wang Lu shortly after they got married. What's going on? Now he wants to apologize. Could it be that? Da Zhuang suddenly realized something and exclaimed, Lao Chen, you didn't really go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to beat Zhao Junjie, did you? Chen Fei hadn't thought about that. Zhao Junjie sure flipped fast. First he learned Chen was marrying Tang Qingyang, then he divorced Wang Lu, fearing trouble from Chen. But Chen wasn't going to bother with someone like him. In the past, he might have sought revenge on this pair, but now, married to Tang Qingyang and with 10 lovely kids, he felt gratitude toward them instead. If it weren't for them, how could he have encountered Tang Qingyang? That night changed everything. Overall, Chen Fei was incredibly happy. He had a beautiful wife and 5 daughters, 5 sons, definitely a winner in life. Instead of wasting time on them, he decided to focus on raising his kids. So, he told Da Zhuang, that's not my concern. I didn't hit him. Since he gave you the money, just keep it. Consider it me and your sister-in-law treating you to dinner. I won't be coming back tonight. What? Da Zhuang's eyes widened in shock. 50,000 for dinner. He couldn't believe it. This wasn't $50 or 500, this was 50,000. They usually spent no more than 200 when eating out, and now Lao Chen wanted to treat them with 50,000. That was absurdly rich. Wait a minute, Chen Fei continued, I'm not going to that party, it's pointless. To Chen Fei, Zhao Junjie meant nothing now. Even if he wanted to apologize, he had to earn that right. Chen wasn't about to waste time on scum like him. Da Zhuang immediately agreed, exactly, no need to go to that party. But Lao Chen, did you really say that 50,000 was to treat us? Being cautious, Da Zhuang needed to clarify since it was indeed 50,000, enough for a down payment on a house in Jiangcheng. Yeah, you all keep that money. Eat whatever you want tonight and enjoy yourselves. Don't hold back, I have 10 kids to take care of, so I won't be joining you. Chen Fei spoke calmly. His 3 dorm brothers Da Zhuang, Lao Wang, and Hao Zi had always treated him well. During his breakup, they had supported him, so giving them 50,000 was his way of showing gratitude. Now that he had a system to help him make money, earning was no longer a concern. Da Zhuang, unless there's anything else, I'm hanging up. I need to pick up my wife and kids. After hanging up, Da Zhuang was left stunned. How did it go, Da Zhuang? Did you find out? Lao Wang asked, rushing over. The 3 were outside the school, ready to take a taxi to the Civil Affairs Bureau to support Chen Fei, but they didn't expect this to happen. Da Zhuang relayed everything Chen Fei had said. After hearing it, the 3 stood in silence for 2 minutes. Then they simultaneously pulled out cigarettes, lit them with trembling hands, and took a deep drag. They exhaled a cloud of white smoke and looked at each other. I guess. In unison, they said, Lao Chen was telling the truth about his wife being the chairperson of Xingtang Group. Lao Chen really did have 10 kids with Tang Qingyang. And he doesn't want to accept Zhao Junjie's 50,000, so he gave it to us to spend. That's true too. As they finished speaking, they started jumping with excitement, shouting, I'm telling you, Lao Chen is my living godfather. Our dorm, 404, finally has a talent. I knew it. Lao Chen is definitely a hidden rich second generation with a powerful background. Look at him, marrying the dream girl Tang Qingyang and tossing around 50,000 like it's nothing. If that's not a rich second generation, what is? I'm so envious I could twist. I'm so envious I'm going to explode. Chapter 11, Master Level Photography Techniques. On the other side, Chen Fei arrived at the parking lot and just walked into the car when his phone rang. It was a WeChat message. He clicked it and saw that it was a friend request. Seeing this familiar avatar and this familiar ID, Chen Fei smiled contemptuously and chose to reject it directly. Then he blocked this WeChat account. Just kidding, at this time, Wang Lu added him as a friend, didn't she just want to find him as a backup? He would definitely not agree. Wang Lu saw the WeChat message and her friend request was rejected. She was stunned. Chen Fei actually rejected my friend request. She never thought that the former dog licker would choose to reject her initiative now. She smiled self-deprecatingly. Yes, now Chen Fei has married a female CEO with a net worth of 1 trillion, how could he still like me? Har har har. I am such an unlucky guy. I thought that by hooking up with Zhao Junjie, I could enter a wealthy family and become a rich wife from now on. But, I never expected. As she spoke, crystal tears flowed down Wang Lu's face, and she sobbed secretly. Chen Fei was able to marry the chairman of Xingtang Group, and the other party gave him 10 children. Those 10 children are so cute, they look like Chen Fei. And I just showed my marriage certificate on WeChat Moments, but within half a day, I was kicked out by Zhao Junjie, becoming a second married woman, and don't expect to marry into a wealthy family in the future. I regret it so much. Chen Fei didn't know Wang Lu's regretful voice. At this time, he was picking up Tang Qingyang and 10 children, and took them to the photo studio that Tang Qingyang often went to, ready to take a family photo. After all, children grow up very quickly, and they grow up if you don't pay attention. It is still necessary to take a family photo as a souvenir. Tang Qingyang also agreed with this idea. However, the 5 rebellious children started to make trouble again. They stood there, pouting, and refused to enter the studio, saying that they didn't like taking pictures. Fei Chen was not in a hurry, and said to Tang Qingyang, "Wife, let's take a group of photos of our daughter first." Okay. Tang Qingyang nodded. Jiubao Keek took out his small mobile phone and said to Fei Chen in a soft voice, "Dad, this doll is so cute, can you help me take a photo with it?" "Of course." Fei Chen said dotingly. Keek picked up the doll in the photo studio and posed for Fei Chen. Chen Fei took his daughter's mobile phone, turned on the camera function, and prepared to take a photo for her. Just then, the system sounded. Ding! Detected that the host took a photo for his daughter, rewarded with master-level photography skills, and the photo editing skills were upgraded to the highest level. As soon as the system finished speaking. In Chen Fei's mind, a lot of knowledge about photography and post-photo editing skills emerged. Now he is a complete photography master. Chen Fei opened his eyes, and the whole world in his eyes became different. He knew without anyone's prompting where to stand and what angle to take the best photo. It was like an innate ability. He picked up the phone, chose the angle, and then quickly composed the picture and took a photo of Keek. After taking the photo, Chen Fei continued, "Keek, don't move, I'll take a video for you." Okay. Chen Fei grabbed the phone with one hand, clicked the video record, and then started recording as steady as an old dog. "Keek, let's change positions." Keek nodded, then held the doll, changed positions, and posed for Chen Fei very cutely. Chen Fei seized the opportunity and took a few more photos of Keek. After changing positions several times, the other sisters also came to Chen Fei, poked their heads out, and looked at the screen in Chen Fei's hand curiously. "Dad, what are you doing here?" "Dad is editing photos." Chen Fei explained with a smile, "I just took a few photos of Keek and recorded a few videos. Dad wants to adjust the color of them." "Wow. Dad can also edit photos, so amazing." The 4 little girls suddenly widened their eyes and looked at Chen Fei with admiration. Although they are still young, as girls, they are born with a love of beauty. Seeing that their father can also edit photos, they are naturally very happy. Every time I asked my mom, my brother and my younger brother to take photos, the photos turned out to be very ugly, either because the light was not good or the focus was not good. In short, they were very dissatisfied. If they wanted to take good-looking photos, they all knew that they had to go to the photo studio to find Aunt Tong Tong. So this time, they were all very happy to know that they had to go to the photo studio. "It's done, Keek, come and see." After Chen Fei edited the photos, he also processed the videos. My daughter was already very beautiful, and with his superb photo editing skills, Keek in the photos looked even more beautiful. Chen Fei returned the phone to Keek, and the other 4 sisters surrounded him from the front, back, left and right. The 5 little girls looked at the phone together and exclaimed in admiration. "Wow, this photo is so beautiful. It's 100 times better than the one taken by the aunt in the photo studio. Daddy, I want to take a photo too. And I want to take a photo too. Keek, click on the video and take a look. I'm looking forward to it." Hearing the voices of her sisters, Keek stretched out her chubby little hands and swiped on the screen unskillfully. Her movements were a little slow and she couldn't get it right. The sisters were anxious and snatched the phone away, found the video and clicked it. The video is finally out. The four sisters exhaled immediately and stared at the phone screen intently. Hold your breath and concentrate. Eyes widen like bells. After watching the entire video, they were all excited, as if they had discovered something incredible. Daddy, I want to take a video like this too. It's so beautiful and interesting. Guoguo was the first to react and ran to Chen Fei happily. She tightly grasped his trouser legs and acted like a spoiled child towards him. The other three little cuties also came to their senses, ran over with their short legs, hugged Chen Fei's thighs, and asked him to take photos and videos for them. Seeing the precious daughters hanging on him, Chen Fei smiled helplessly. He really looked like a gourd vine now. But since his daughters had asked, he certainly couldn't refuse. And the 5 rebellious sons standing next to them saw their sisters pestering Chen Fei to take photos and videos, and couldn't help but said sourly, "Are the photos taken by that guy really that good looking? I guess it might be a little better than what we took." Babao touched his nose and expressed a different opinion. "I guess it should be very good, otherwise, the sisters wouldn't ask that boy to take photos. We took photos of them before, but we never saw them like this. HMPH, impossible." Liu Bao flattened his mouth, looking like "I don't believe it." "How about we go and see how the guy took the photo?" Babao suggested in a low voice. Chapter 12. What is this called? A powerful dragon cannot suppress a local snake. No. Facing Babao's proposal, several rebellious sons refused in unison. "Guoguo, look, the photos taken by Daddy are very beautiful." Keek raised his mobile phone and ran over happily, saying as if showing off, "I want them to see the photos taken by Daddy." The 4 little guys turned their heads away with disgust and refused to look at them. Only Babao took the phone and looked at it with interest, then widened his eyes and exclaimed, "Wow, it's so beautiful." He had an idea in his mind. That is, he also wanted to take such beautiful photos. However, he wanted to take cool photos. As a boy, sometimes he would be conceited, so naturally he wanted to take some beautiful photos. But as boys, they can't be as conceited as girls. However, Babao is simpler than the other brothers. Whatever he thinks in his heart, it will show on his face. Seeing that Babao was a little moved, Keek continued to persuade him, "Guoguo, you should go over too. Let Dad take pictures of you. It will definitely be very good." Faced with Keek's persuasion, Babao finally couldn't help wanting to agree. But before he nodded, he still looked at the brothers not far away. The 4 brothers stood at the door of the studio with serious expressions. "Are you really not going to take pictures?" Babao asked tentatively again. "No. We don't like taking pictures." "That's right, the pictures taken by the boys are not very good. We are fine staying here." The 4 brothers refused again mercilessly. Seeing that several brothers were unwilling to go, Babao shook his head helplessly and whispered, "Okay, then if you don't go, I'll go alone." "I can't go." The 4 boys looked at Babao in unison. Babao was a little unhappy, twisted his little body, and pouted, "I'm going." "See Bao, if you do this, everyone will be ununited." "Liu Bao, forget it, let him go, it's just a photo anyway." At this time, Shabao raised his little meaty hand and weakly interrupted, "I'll go too." "Babao goes alone, don't let that boy fool you, I'll keep an eye on you." As soon as Shabao finished speaking, his hand was hit down by Erbao. "No need. He can go by himself. It doesn't matter if one of the 2 brothers goes. By then, don't let both of them go together, or they will be abducted by that cheap dad. I have just sent a message to Aunt Tongtong, asking her to come quickly. Aunt Tongtong takes the best photos, and the sisters all like her. When Aunt Tongtong comes, that guy won't have any chance." Erbao touched his chin, looking shrewd. The other kids also gave him a thumbs up. "That's right. Second brother, this is a good trick. What's this called? A strong dragon can't suppress a local snake." Har har har, that's right. However, what these kids don't know is that at this time, Chen Fei's photography skills, with the blessing of the system, have already reached the highest peak in the world. Even those well-known photography masters have to bow down in front of him. So, 10 minutes later, when Shutong came to the photo studio, these kids were still waiting to see Chen Fei make a fool of himself. However, when Shutong saw the photos Chen Fei took of Keek, She was a little reserved at first, but she turned into a little fangirl in an instant, ran to Chen Fei, hugged Chen Fei, and said excitedly, "God, you are so amazing." This Aunt Shutong in the baby's mouth. No matter her appearance or figure, she can be regarded as the best. She wore a suspender t-shirt, revealing her sexy collarbone, and a pair of denim hot pants underneath, with slender and white legs. Her whole person looked very young and energetic. Being hugged by her like this, Chen Fei only had one feeling, that is, it was so hot. "Aunt Tong Tong, please don't take advantage of my daddy." Coco used her little arms to hug Shutong's thighs tightly, trying to drag her away. However, no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't move at all. "Your daddy." Hearing this, Shutong immediately let go of Chen Fei and looked at Coco with surprise. "Yes. He is my daddy, Aunt Tong Tong can't do this, men and women, uncles are not allowed to be intimate." Keek thought for a long time before she remembered this idiom and said it in an unstandard voice. Shutong was amused by Keek's naivety. Fei Chen also smiled and touched his daughter's head, then said to Shutong, "Hello, I am Keek's father and Qingyan's husband." Shutong was surprised when she heard it. But soon, she raised the corners of her mouth, showing a sly smile, looking at Chen Fei and said, "So, you are the man who made Qingyan give birth to 10 babies." "Sure enough." "Sure enough what?" Fei Chen asked curiously. "Sure enough, har har har." Shutong laughed loudly, and then said to Chen Fei in a familiar way, "Master, can you tell me who taught you your photography skills? The composition, the light, and the color adjustment in the later stage are really great. Most people can't do it at all. You must be a professional photographer, right?" "Har har, I'm not a professional photographer. I learned all these by myself." Chen Fei explained with a smile. "Really?" Hearing this, Shutong was even more shocked, staring at Chen Fei and said, "You learned all this by yourself? Where did Qingyang find her treasure husband? This is too amazing. A photographer like me who specializes in photography and has studied abroad for several years can't compare to you, Tang Tang husband, you are so awesome." Tang Tang husband. Why does this title sound weird? It's as if she deliberately called herself husband. Especially now, her fox eyes exude waves of seductive light. A charming and graceful look. Fei Chen didn't expect that Tang Qingyan's friend would be so bold. "Aunt Tong Tong. My dad is called Chen Fei, not Tang Tang's husband." At this time, perhaps hearing her own name, the cute Tang Tang came over and corrected Shutong. "Har har, auntie knows. Your dad is called Chen Fei, what a special name." As she said, Shutong looked at Chen Fei again and asked expectantly, "Master Chen Fei, are you still recruiting apprentices? What do you think of me?" Seeing this scene, the faces of the rebellious sons standing outside turned green immediately. Especially Erbao, the expression on his face was indescribably embarrassed. He called Shutong here just to let her abuse Chen Fei in front of her sisters. To make his cheap father not too arrogant. But unexpectedly, as soon as Shutong entered the door, she lowered her status and praised Chen Fei fiercely. Now she is pestering Chen Fei and wants to be his apprentice? This is too discouraging. You know, Shutong is the president of Jiancheng Photography Association. And her works have won international awards. Any portrait photo can be sold for tens of millions of dollars, and she is known as the most influential young female photographer in the world. But now, she actually wants to worship Chen Fei as her master? Is her cheap dad really that powerful? The little guys looked at each other and lowered their heads, not daring to look at the scene in front of them. Chapter 13 Sister-in-law, what do you want to do? Faced with Shutong's request to become a disciple, Chen Fei refused without a second thought. His photography skills were all acquired through the system, how could he teach others? Besides, he had no intention of accepting disciples. Faced with Chen Fei's refusal, Shutong was not discouraged, and kept serving tea and water to Chen Fei, trying to please Chen Fei. Just then, Tang Qingyang, who was on the phone outside, came back. Seeing her cousin Shutong, who was eccentric and no one could do anything to her, was being attentive to Chen Fei at this time, calling him master. She was stunned. What's wrong with her cousin? She has always been arrogant, but she would be so servile to Chen Fei? Sister Qingyang, you're here. I tell you, my cousin's husband is really amazing. Not only is he awesome in that aspect, his genes surpass those of ordinary people, and his photography skills are also amazing. Please help me persuade him to accept me as his apprentice. I promise to serve him well as my master and never embarrass him. As she said that, Shutong hugged Tang Qingyan's arm and began to shake it, saying coquettishly, "Sister, please help me." Tang Qingyan was slightly stunned. She didn't expect that Chen Fei not only knew how to repair cars, but also had first-class driving skills, and now even his photography skills were so amazing. As Shutong's cousin, she certainly knew Shutong's attainments in photography. In the entire Jiangcheng photography circle, if Shutong said she was second, no one dared to claim to be first. And looking at the whole country, her photography skills are also one of the best. But now, she actually begged Chen Fei to accept her as an apprentice. That means Chen Fei's photography skills are better than Shutong's. Just now, when she saw her daughter asking Chen Fei to help take photos, she didn't think much about it. She answered a phone call and went out. She thought he was just good at taking photos. But now it seems that Chen Fei is really a low-key treasure boy. His photography skills are probably the best in the world. But even so, he didn't mention this ability on his resume. He is so low-key. Thinking of this, she became very interested in the boy in front of her, who was for years younger than her. At first, she thought Chen Fei was just an ordinary college student, but she didn't expect to find so many shining points in him after just half a day of contact with him. This time, she really picked up a treasure. Tang Qingyang was in a good mood, slapped Shutong's hand away, and then said lightly, "If you want your brother-in-law to accept you as a disciple, you have to fight for it with your own ability." "I knew you would say that." Shutong pouted and said angrily, "But I have made up my mind. I will move in with you tomorrow. I will work hard to persuade my brother-in-law to accept me as a disciple, otherwise, I will not let you live in a world of two people." "Whatever you want." Tang Qingyang spread her hands, not afraid of Shutong's threat. "Anyway, there are 10 little kids at home, they can't live in a world of two people. At most, it will change from the current world of 12 people to a world of 13 people. Shutong came over, and she can help take care of the baby." Thinking of this, Tang Qingyang readily handed the camera to Shutong and said to him, "Come on, take a family photo for us, just in front of your brother-in-law, show off." He, no problem." Shutong took the camera with a sly smile on his face. "Second, fourth, sixth, eighth, come in quickly to take a family photo." Shutong shouted loudly to the outside of the door. These little brats hid outside the door and refused to come in to take pictures. Seeing this, Shutong ran out directly and brought these little brats in, regardless of whether they agreed or not. "Dare to affect my performance in front of my brother-in-law." Bang bang, 2 punches. Under the threat of Shutong's force, these rebellious sons could only come in and cooperate with the photo taking. However, when taking pictures, they refused to cooperate and smile. Shutong immediately turned cold. "Second brother, I have you in open crotch pants." Erbao broke out in a cold sweat and smiled immediately. "Fourth brother, when you were 1 year old." Fourth brother smiled immediately after hearing this. Seeing this, the other 3 little guys didn't need Shutong to say anything, their flat mouths immediately turned into hooks. Although they were still a little reluctant, it was much better than before. Shutong didn't ask them too much, raised the camera and started taking pictures. "Very good, that's it, make a heart again, love you Tilder." Shutong stretched out her little hand and made a heart to Tang Qingyan's family to demonstrate to them. However, when she said, "love you," her eyes were looking at Chen Fei who was standing in the center. Chen Fei smiled at her in response. But in her heart, she was thinking, what does her sister-in-law want to do? 5 minutes later, the family portrait was taken. Shutong wanted Chen Fei to take a photo of her, but was ruthlessly rejected by Chen Fei. The reason was that it was almost time for dinner. The children had been out for so long and were already hungry. So, he used the excuse of eating to escape from the photo studio. When they arrived at the door, just as the family was about to get in the car, Chen Fei's phone rang. He took out his phone, looking a little embarrassed. "What's wrong?" Tang Qingyang couldn't help asking. "It was a WeChat message from my mother. I was thinking, should I tell them about such a big thing as getting the marriage certificate today?" In fact, Chen Fei wanted to tell them about this in the morning. However, he thought that the old couple's heart was not very good. It would be bad if they couldn't stand it and got sick from the shock. After all, suddenly there was a daughter-in-law of a trillionaire president, and 10 grandchildren. Who could bear this? Tang Qingyang was slightly stunned, and also felt that this matter was a bit tricky. After all, marriage is not a matter of 2 people, but a matter of 2 families. However, she made a decision immediately. "Fei Chen, call your parents, I will send someone to pick them up, let's have a good meal together and meet below. Let me pick them up. Fei Chen thought for a while and said. Thinking of Tang Qingyan's first appearance, the black-clad female bodyguards followed by her, plus the Maybachs. If you don't know, you might think he's a gangster boss. It would be bad if his parents misunderstood him and thought he was doing something bad outside. Okay. Then go pick them up in the afternoon. Tang Qingyan paused, then said, it just so happens that the children haven't seen their grandparents yet, so take them with them this time. Oh. Fei Chen originally thought that he would go back alone first. Explain to the old couple, and let them meet Tang Qingyan and the 10 children after they are mentally prepared. But now, after being said by Tang Qingyan, he was too embarrassed to refuse, so he could only nod and say, okay, let's go back together. Fei Chen was not a man who would waste time. And he thought, his parents' tolerance should not be so low, right? Maybe, they would be very happy when they knew they had 10 grandchildren. Chapter 14 Returning to hometown to see parents. After making the decision, Fei Chen took his family to a nearby restaurant for lunch. Then, Fei Chen drove the Rolls-Royce and took his wife and children to their highway. The urban area of Jiangcheng is not far from Fei Chen's hometown. It only takes 2 hours to drive. Unexpectedly, when he was about to get off their highway, he encountered a traffic policeman checking the car. Vehicle license, driver's license, show it. The traffic police knocked on the car window and said to Fei Chen in the driver's seat. Fei Chen parked the car, then took out 2 certificates and handed them to the traffic police outside the car window. After looking at Chen Fei's driver's license, the traffic police immediately raised his head and shouted coldly, "Boy, you dare to drive on a highway only half a month after getting the license, you are so brave. Do you know that you violated the traffic law by doing this?" "Officer, I have been driving for 4 years. I sat in the passenger seat and watched him drive. This should not violate the law, right?" Tang Qingyang said, handing her driver's license to the traffic police. The traffic police took the driver's license and looked at it, then nodded and said with a smile, "This is not a violation, but boy, you just got the driver's license, I suggest you practice more, don't drive on the highway, it's too dangerous." Chen Fei smiled and agreed. If there was no system, he would definitely not dare to drive on the highway just after getting the driver's license. After all, his wife and children were sitting in the car. But now, with the blessing of the system, his driving skills have already reached the level of perfection. Even if he participates in the F1 race, he can win the championship. Driving on the highway is a piece of cake for him. After the traffic police let him go, Tang Qingyan's heart was still restless. Has Chen Fei just got his driver's license for less than half a month? However, judging from Chen Fei's sophisticated driving skills and his understanding of cars, he doesn't look like a novice driver at all. Chen Fei, you really make me more and more interested. Tang Qingyang looked at Chen Fei and said. Oh. How interested? Chen Fei grinned, turned his head and looked at Tang Qingyang. The sun shone in through the car window, sprinkled on Chen Fei's knife-like face, looking extremely handsome and charming. Tang Qingyang's long silent heart also began to beat. She quickly turned her head away, not daring to look directly at Chen Fei's eyes. Chen Fei looked at her blushing face and said jokingly, "Are you scared by my superb driving skills? Then you have to get used to it slowly in the future, because there are still many things that will shock you." Chen Fei said this not to show off, but because he has activated the system now. As long as he touches something related to the baby, the system will help him improve his skills to the top. For example, car repair skills, driving skills, as well as photography skills, post-photo editing, etc. So in the future, there will definitely be many more things that will shock Tang Qingyang. Hearing this, Tang Qingyang trembled and looked at Chen Fei in surprise. She knew that Chen Fei must be bragging. After all, for most people, it is already a difficult thing to reach the top in one field. And Chen Fei has now reached the extreme in both fields. He is a rare genius. So, when Chen Fei said that there would be more things that would shock her in the future, she certainly didn't think so. After all, how can a man be called a man if he doesn't brag? She didn't expose him, but said, in agreement. Leaving the highway. Continue driving for half an hour. The car slowly drove from the city to the countryside. Chen Fei's hometown is not in the city, but in the suburbs of a third-tier city. Although he is not a city dweller, Chen Fei's family is not very poor. At least, Chen Fei didn't think he had suffered much. It seemed that he would be home in 10 minutes. Chen Fei took out his mobile phone and called his parents. "Hello, son, where are you?" The voice of Chen's father came from the other end of the phone. Before leaving, Chen Fei sent a WeChat message to his parents, saying that he would be back today. As for the matter of Tang Qingyang and the child, he didn't say it on WeChat. He planned to tell his parents in person after meeting them. Because if he said it on WeChat, they wouldn't believe it. After all, Chen Fei just graduated from college and married a female CEO worth trillions of dollars, and asked her to give birth to 10 children for him. No matter who he told this, no one would believe it. So, it is better to wait until he meets them before telling them about it. "Dad, I'm at the entrance of the village. I'll be home in 10 minutes. Is Mom home?" "Your mom went to the town to buy vegetables. Tonight, I will make you your favorite braised pork, spicy chicken, chopped pepper fish head, beer duck. Anyway, there are many delicious foods, I guarantee that you will be full." Dad Chen's hearty voice came from the phone. He knew that his son didn't eat well in school, and he didn't have money to go out to cook. As parents, they knew that their son was coming back. Naturally, they hoped to arrange all the best meals for their son. Hearing his father start to call out the familiar names of dishes again, Chen Fei showed a happy smile on his face. "Okay, Dad. Then ask Mom to buy more and prepare enough for 12 people. Fai Chen urged the person on the other end of the phone. "Did you bring your classmates back? That's great. I'll call your mom now and ask her to prepare more dishes." Fai Chen said happily. "Not classmates. Never mind. You'll know when I come back." Fai Chen was about to explain, but after thinking about it, he didn't say it. If not classmates, then who? And there are 12 people. "Son, tell Dad clearly who you brought back." Fai Chen panicked when he heard that he didn't bring his classmates back. And there were so many people. Did his son go out to mingle? No wonder. It's the second semester of his senior year, and his son had just attended the graduation ceremony. It stands to reason that he should stay in school and prepare to find a job. Why did he come back suddenly? Did his son make some bad friends during his 4 years in college? Now that he has graduated from college and has not found a job, he brings his friends to his house to eat for free. Thinking of this, Chen's father frowned and immediately said seriously, "Stinky boy, tell me clearly, what is going on?" Chen Fei knew that his father must have thought wrong again. It seems that he still needs to tell him the truth first. Otherwise, when he returns home, what will greet him will not be a sumptuous dinner, but the interrogation of the entire Chinjie village, which will be embarrassing. "Dad, don't think too much. I'm married, and I'm bringing my wife and children back to see you. It's that simple. I'll hang up first if there's nothing else. I'm still driving. Bye." After saying that, Chen Fei hung up the phone. Chapter 15, Lao Wang, do you still have a butcher knife? Beep. I heard the busy tone on the phone. Dad Chen was stunned, his eyes were extremely dull. Getting married? Bringing his wife and children back to see us? It took half a minute for Dad Chen to come back to his senses. He took out a cigarette from his pocket, lit it and took a deep puff. Who? He exhaled a puff of smoke, forcing himself to calm down and calm down. Finally, he couldn't help it and took out his mobile phone to call the child's mother. "Old woman, I want to tell you something. Don't get excited, you don't have a knife in your hand now, do you?" Dad Chen asked cautiously. There's no way, his son did it. As a father, of course he has to take the responsibility. This stinky boy, just graduated from college, got someone pregnant, and told him after the child was born. It's all his fault as a father, he didn't educate his child well. I didn't teach him that knowledge, and told him that if he didn't take precautions while driving, he would be a nanny next year. Now, he can only swallow his anger. No, what's wrong? If you have anything to say, please say it quickly, don't delay me from buying groceries. Chen's mother said unhappily. It's good that you didn't take the knife. He was afraid that Chen's mother would not be able to resist taking the knife to chop her son after hearing the news. Here's the thing. Didn't my son come back today? He just called me and said he was almost at the entrance of the village. Almost there. Why didn't you tell me? That's not the point. The point is that he brought his daughter-in-law back. What? Bringing his daughter-in-law back? That's a good thing. My son graduated from college and has a girlfriend. Isn't that normal? I thought it was a big deal. I was so surprised. I'll hang up if nothing happens. Don't wait. It's not a girlfriend, it's. What is it? Dad Chen was silent for a while, then gritted his teeth and said, "That stinky boy got married without telling us, and got her pregnant. Now she has a child. Today, he brought his wife and children back together." Mom Chen didn't speak on the other end of the phone. Only her footsteps and the voice of her talking to the pork stall owner could be heard. "Old Wang, do you still have a butcher knife? The small one will do. I'll take it home." Hearing this, Father Chen immediately became anxious and quickly stopped him, saying, "Old woman, don't mess around. Did you hear that? Your son brought a lot of people back. There are probably the girls' parents inside. They have children now. What else do you want to do? Can you still stuff them back?" Father Chen hurriedly shouted on the phone, then locked the door and ran out, trying to stop Mother Chen. "After all, things have already happened, so we can only bear it silently, right? Besides, if we have a falling out with our in-laws as soon as we meet, this is not good for our son. In short, we still have to accept this matter." After Father Chen left. Not long after, Chen Fei returned home with his wife and children. He didn't expect that his parents' tolerance was so poor that there was no one at home. He shouted a few times to the people nearby, but heard no response. He wondered if his father knew that he had brought his wife and children back and went shopping with his mother. Fortunately, the spare key at home was still placed by the window. He took out the key and opened the iron gate. Chen Fei's hometown was a self-built house with a yard in the south, and the car could drive directly into the yard. After parking the car, the two got out and took the 10 babies down. As soon as the babies landed, they were so excited to see the rural environment they had never seen before. "Chicken. What a cute little chicken." Seeing the little chickens on the lawn, Keek's eyes lit up, and he ran over with his short legs, wanting to catch the little yellow chicken to play with. The other little babies were also attracted by these cute little chickens and ran over happily. Even the rebellious sons couldn't hold back at this time. Originally, when they heard that they were going to their father's house, they all had a stern face. But now, seeing the cute little chickens, they no longer looked cold and indifferent, and joined the chicken-catching army. 10 naughty kids ran around, making the yard a mess. Seeing this scene, Chen Fei also smiled. At first, he was afraid that these children would not like the countryside after living in the city. But now it seems that he was worrying too much. Tang Qingyang looked at Chen Fei's house with a somewhat stunned expression. Because in her impression, houses in the countryside are generally dirty and messy. But Chen Fei's hometown is very clean. Even though there are some livestock in the yard, there is no odor at all, and the air is very fresh. The yard is full of flowers, which looks like a villa. Not only is there a parking lot, but there is also a small pool, as well as various flowers and trees. Living in this environment is more comfortable than living in a villa in the city. Is this really the countryside? Tang Qingyang began to be a little shocked. "Are you thirsty? Do you want to come in? I'll get you a glass of water." Fei Chen looked at the babies who were having fun in the yard and said to Tang Qingyang, "Okay, but it's a bit sunny now. Let's take the babies back to their house." Tang Qingyang said worriedly, "It's okay." Fei Chen smiled and said, "Let them get some sun. The air conditioner was on in the car just now, and the cold air has entered their bodies. It's evening now, the sun is not so strong, let them get some sun and drive away the cold." Fei Chen didn't intend to spoil his children. It was good to let them get in touch with nature more. Tang Qingyang hesitated for a moment, but nodded. "Okay." Then, Fei Chen took Tang Qingyang into their house. Fei Chen's home was simply decorated, not luxurious, but it was very clean and tidy at a glance. Even in the dead corners of hygiene, there was no dust at all. This gave Tang Qingyang a new understanding of Chen Fei's parents. To keep such a big house so clean and tidy, it takes careful care every day. Many people live in big houses, but their homes are messy. So, seeing Chen Fei's house so tidy and the yard so clean, Tang Qingyang understood why Chen Fei was so sunny and handsome. Even coaxing children is very good. Because the family environment has a great influence on a person. Thinking of this, Tang Qingyang also has great expectations for her future marriage life. Chen Fei poured 2 glasses of water, one for Tang Qingyang and the other for himself. The two of them held the water cups and sat down at the door. While drinking water, they looked at 10 babies playing crazy. The years were extremely quiet. Suddenly, a noisy voice came out. It was Chen Fei's dialect, which was a bit different from Mandarin. So Tang Qingyang didn't understand, but Chen Fei really heard it. Chapter 16 Continuous Surprises. Sister-in-law, look, the door to your yard is open. Xiao Fei must have brought someone back. If you ask me, don't be so angry. When we were Xiao Fei's age, didn't we get married and have children? That's right. Look at the Wang family next door. His son is 18 years old and is about to have a second child. What's there to be angry about? Yes, it's not easy to marry a wife now. People get married by themselves without you having to give a gift. How great is that? Sister-in-law, put down the knife quickly, don't scare the pregnant woman. Let's talk about it. Hearing their voice coming from outside, Chen Fei's mouth twitched. My mother actually took a knife? This is too fierce. Chen Fei quickly stood up from the chair and said to Tang Qingyang, Qingyang, someone is outside, I'll go out and take a look. He had to explain the matter to his mother before she came in. Otherwise, it would be bad if Tang Qingyang was scared. It seems that his mother must have thought that the child was still in Tang Qingyang's belly. That's why she was so angry and wanted to chop herself. Yeah. Tang Qingyang also heard the sound outside. However, she didn't understand the local dialect and didn't know that Chen Fei's mother was back. But from the expression on Chen Fei's face, she knew that something must have happened outside. However, Chen Fei didn't ask her to go out, so she sat on the chair obediently. Chen Fei ran outside with big strides. Because the wall of his yard was built 2 meters high, he couldn't see the situation outside at all. As soon as Chen Fei ran out and saw the scene in front of him, he was stunned. I saw that his mother was leading the group, followed closely by more than a dozen aunts, uncles, and aunties. The point is that her mother was holding a butcher knife in her hand. His father was pulling his mother to persuade her, and the aunts, uncles, and aunties were also trying to persuade her. You bastard! When Chen's mother saw Chen Fei, her face darkened and she roared. She also waved the butcher knife in her hand. However, when she was about to scold Chen Fei severely, a chubby little girl suddenly appeared behind Chen Fei, with big black eyes and sweat on her cheeks from catching the chicks just now. Her little face was red and very cute. Daddy, what is that grandma holding in her hand? Dabao Tang blinked and looked at Chen's mother and others curiously. She was holding a chick in her hand that she had caught with great difficulty. Originally, she wanted to come over to share her joy with Chen Fei. Unexpectedly, she saw a group of grandmas. With the appearance of Tang, the entire courtyard doorway instantly became quiet. It was silent for half a minute. Wow, whose daughter is that? She's so cute. I don't know who shouted first. Then, all the aunts and uncles began to talk about it. She has a chubby little face, so cute. When did such a cute little girl appear in our village? Didn't you hear her? She was calling Xiao Fei daddy just now. Oh my god, is this Xiao Fei's daughter? She's so cute. Our Chen family actually gave birth to such a cute girl. It's really a great honor to our family. When Chen's mother saw the cute little girl behind Chen Fei, her expression froze. She quickly hid the butcher knife in her hand behind her. Oh my god. This little girl is so cute. Is this her granddaughter? Although the little granddaughter was dirty and holding a little chicken, she was still cute. Seeing this little girl, Chen's mother softened. Although she was still a little angry with her son for not telling her about such a big thing as marriage. But at this moment, seeing her granddaughter, she just wanted to be a kind grandmother. Forget all their hatred and resentment. However, she had to find a way to hide the knife so as not to scare her granddaughter. She thought of a way. As a result, at this time. Huh? Dad, what are you doing here? Another little baby poked his head out of the yard. Twins. Chen Fei's second aunt exclaimed. Seeing this scene, Chen's mother couldn't hide the smile on her face anymore. Good guy. My son is so good. He actually let his daughter-in-law give birth to twins? Well, since my son is so proud of himself, I won't be angry with him. There's nothing I can do. These 2 little babies are so cute. As a grandmother, her heart is melting. She was about to speak. Suddenly. Daddy, Sister Tang, Sister Guogua, what are you doing here? Keek wants to come and see too. Another little baby popped out. Chen Fei's aunt gasped and exclaimed, "Are they triplets? Oh my god, triplets! This breaks the record of our village. Sister-in-law, your Chen Fei is amazing. He actually gave birth to a pair of triplets. They are all so cute. I'm so envious. Our Chen family's ancestral graves are smoking. We are so blessed." The relatives of the Chen family exclaimed one after another, and they were all very happy. Triplet. And they are all girls. Har har har. There is hope for the future. Aunt Chen was just about to go over and give her granddaughter a good pat on the head. Suddenly. "Hey, why are you all running to the door? Is there anything fun there? I want to play too." At this time, Wu Bao Tianqian also ran out curiously. She thought her sisters were hiding something more fun from her. She ran over happily, looking very silly. Fuck, am I dreaming? For identical little kids. Quadruplets. My eyes are not presbyopic, why do I have double vision? I just had presbyopia surgery. You are not mistaken, it's quadruplets, they look exactly the same. Sister-in-law, your Chen Fei is so awesome. He actually gave birth to quadruplets. No, we have to set up a banquet and invite the whole village. This is a big happy event. After hearing this, Aunt Chen wanted to jump up and down on the spot. A pair of hands kept patting their heads and laughing. What are you doing here? The 5 rebellious sons came out of the yard curiously. The aunt who was about to inform the whole village almost fell to the ground when she saw this scene. Fortunately, the eldest aunt beside her supported her. My mother, what's going on? Who can tell me? I actually saw 9 identical babies. Could it be they are 9 pairs of babies? 4 girls, 5 sons. Just as the aunt was shocked, Chabao Mai Mai grabbed the chick and ran out with sweat on her head. Daddy, Daddy, I finally caught the chick. Seeing this scene, everyone was petrified and couldn't say a word. Chapter 17 The Real 10 Babies. My god, these are 10 babies. There shouldn't be any more, right? After a long time, everyone came back to their senses from the shock. And Father Chen, who had been silent, couldn't help but quietly took out a Hongtashan cigarette, lit it and took 2 puffs. His throat seemed to be strangled by someone, and he couldn't speak. Xiao Fei, explain to everyone quickly. What's going on? After Father Chen finished smoking, he said to Chen Fei. Dad, Mom, Big Aunt, Second Aunt, Third Aunt, Little Aunt. Chen Fei shouted at the relatives in front of him one by one. Before Chen Fei finished shouting, he was interrupted by his aunt. Oh, it's already so late, why are you still shouting? Explain to us. Yes, hurry up and introduce these 10 little cuties, what's going on? Yes, are they all your children? Are they born to the same mother, or to different mothers? Chen Fei's aunt is relatively young, just in her early 30s, so her mind is relatively open. Although the 10 babies look very similar, you can still see the differences if you look closely. In addition, they have never heard of anyone giving birth to 10 in one pregnancy. After all, giving birth to one is painful. What if she is pregnant with 10 babies? This is simply unimaginable. So, she boldly guessed that these 10 babies should be born to several mothers. As soon as the aunt said this, everyone's face changed immediately. Chen Fei waved his hand quickly and stopped them from continuing to imagine, otherwise something bad would happen. These 10 babies were all born to me by my wife. They are genuine 10 babies. Fei Chen explained calmly. Now, everyone was shocked. Oh my god, they are really 10 babies. This is incredible. How hard it must have been for your wife when she was pregnant. No more talking, Chen Fei, I'll go home and catch some old hens to nourish your wife. After saying that, Fei Chen ran and jumped towards her chicken coop. Second aunt was as excited as if her own child had given birth. Xiao Fei, second aunt has an old sow at home. I'll give you a pig-killing feast tomorrow to celebrate. Little aunt patted her chest and laughed. Smelly boy, you're going to be famous in the whole village now. Our Chen family has never had 10 babies. Not to mention the Chen family, I guess no one in the whole of China is so awesome. Little aunt will go back and tell your uncle-in-law. Let him be happy too. Not long after, all the aunts and uncles all dispersed excitedly, leaving only Chen's father and mother. At this time, Tang Qingyang also came out. Because she saw the children all ran to the door, she was worried that something might happen, so she came out. Fortunately, when she came out, the relatives had all left. Otherwise, they would definitely hold her hand and chat with her for a long time. However, there should be no escape for parents' days. Mom and Dad, this is my wife Tang Qingyang. Wife, these are my parents. Chen Fei introduced each other openly. Dad and Mom looked at their daughter-in-law in front of them, and they were full of joy. She is so beautiful. Especially Mom Chen, she held Tang Qingyang's hand tightly and said excitedly, "My daughter, you have worked so hard." Speaking of this, Mom Chen's eyes were wet, but more were tears of happiness. Because she has been a mother. So she knows how hard it is for a woman to be pregnant. What's more, she is pregnant with 10 children at a time. This stinky boy. The child is so big, but he brought him back. After dinner tonight, I will teach him a lesson. Hey, what is this? Wugwa pointed to the butcher knife stuck in Mom Chen's waist behind her and asked curiously. Seeing this, everyone was shocked. Chen Fei hurried over to block the butcher knife and explained to his daughter, Wugwa, this is what Grandma brought back, specially for butchering pigs. We can have a butchering feast tomorrow. Oh, Wugwa understands. Wugwa didn't think much about it and nodded obediently. Let's go in and talk, let's go in and talk. When Chen's mother saw that the butcher knife hidden in her waist was discovered by her granddaughter, her expression on her face was a little embarrassed. She hurriedly changed the subject and led everyone into their house. Come to their house. Chen's mother immediately winked at Chen's father. Chen's father understood in seconds, took the butcher knife from her hand, ran into the kitchen, and hid the knife. Then he put away all the sharp objects in the house. Put it out of the children's reach. Children of this age are full of curiosity about the world, and they want to play with anything they haven't seen before. So it is still necessary to take safety precautions. In the living room, Chen's mother sat on the sofa and talked to Tang Qingyang. Although Tang Qingyang usually looked high and mighty, and was the female president of Xingtang Group. But when she met her mother-in-law, she instantly became a little girl. However, Chen's mother was very familiar with people, talking to herself alone. Tang Qingyang only needed to nod and agree. Tang, Xian. All of you stand in a row and show Grandma a good look. Tang Qingyang said to her eldest daughter and eldest son. The little family listened to their mother's words very much, and immediately lined up in front of Tang Qingyang and Chen's mother. Chen Fei and Chen's father sat on the sofa on the other side. Chen's father seemed a little nervous, and his body was straight. Chen Fei put his arm on Chen's father's shoulder, patted his back, and said with a smile, Dad, don't be so nervous, we are all family, relax. Chen's father didn't say anything, rolled his eyes at Chen Fei, as if to say, Stinky boy, don't fool your father, I have to maintain the image of a father in front of my daughter-in-law and grandson. Chen Fei smiled and ignored it. Instead, he lay comfortably on the sofa, enjoying watching Tang Qingyang, who was introducing the children to her parents. Mom and Dad, this is Dabao Tang, this is Bao Xian, this is Sanbao Guogua, this is Sibao Yarn, this is Wubao Tian, this is Liubao Nian, this is Jubao Mai, this is Babao Kai, this is Jubao Kik, this is Shabao Wen. Good. After listening to Tang Qingyang's introduction, Mother Chen said 3 good words in a row, but her head was a mess. Too many grandchildren is not a good thing. Now, she only remembered the eldest child Tang and the second child Xian. As for the others, she was completely confused. It seems that I have to find my partner later. Take a notebook to write it down, so that it will be easier to remember. After Tang Qingyang introduced them, she said to the children, Baby, this is Grandpa and Grandma, call them. Although the 5 rebellious children usually dislike Chen Fei and have never really called him Daddy. But at this time, the 5 of them did not lose their temper. 10 milk bowls looked at Chen's father and mother in unison and shouted in unison. Hello, Grandpa and Grandma. Chapter 18, a headache-inducing name, $1 million deposit. Seeing this scene, Chen's father and mother's eyes suddenly turned red, and they couldn't help but burst into tears. Hey! All good children. Chen's father and mother responded loudly. The 2 secretly wiped away their tears, stood up and said to Chen Fei, Xiao Fei, your mother and your father are going to buy vegetables, you take good care of Qingyang and the babies at home, and eat some fruit first if you are hungry. Just now at the vegetable market, I heard that my son brought his wife back. Mother Chen ran back before their vegetables were bought. Now, I have to buy some more vegetables and make a good meal. After all, the daughter-in-law worked so hard, gave birth to 10 babies for her son, and raised them so well. Qingyang, what do you like to eat? And babies, do you have anything you like to eat? Mother Chen then looked at Tang Qingyang and the 10 babies and asked considerately. Originally, Tang Qingyang was thinking about coming to Chen Fei's house to sit for a while, and then pick up her parents-in-law to go to Jiangcheng. She didn't want to stay for dinner. But now, seeing how enthusiastic Chen's father and mother were, she knew that she had to have dinner tonight. She replied, I can eat anything. I'm not picky. At home, Michelin chefs come to cook every day. No matter what dish is cooked, the taste will not be bad. So Tang Qingyang feels that she should be a non-picky eater. When the babies heard their grandmother ask them what they like to eat, they all spoke up. Meat, I want to eat meat. And prawns, Grandma, I want to eat crayfish. Dad promised us that he would cook crayfish for us tonight. Yeah, when we came, Dad said that he would take us to catch crayfish and cook it for us tonight. 10 little babies were talking to each other. Dad Chen and Mom Chen nodded and smiled. Okay, then wait, after the sun goes down, I will let this stinky boy take you to catch crayfish. In the countryside, crayfish are everywhere. Especially in the creeks in the fields, they are lively and fresh. Seeing that the babies and daughter-in-law were not picky eaters, Chen's mother was relieved. Because a picky baby can give people a headache, and 10 picky babies can make people's heads explode. After explaining, Chen's father and mother went out. On their way to the vegetable market, Mother Chen scratched the back of her head and asked Chen's father, Old man, did you remember the names of the grandchildren just now? As she said, Chen's mother took out her mobile phone. Prepare to sort out all the names of the grandchildren and then write them down. She didn't want to ask her daughter-in-law again. That's too bad. Didn't you remember it? Dad Chen asked back. Mother Chen rolled her eyes at him and said unhappily, Why do you care if I remember it or not? Hurry up and tell me the names you know, and I'll make a note, otherwise I'm afraid I'll forget it. Mother Chen opened the memo, put both hands on the keyboard, and looked ready to go. The first baby is Tang Tang, the second baby is Xian Xian, and the third baby is called what? The fourth baby is Kai Kai, the fifth baby. No, the fourth baby is Yarn Yarn, and the eighth baby is Kai Kai. As Chen's father spoke, he was a little confused. Can you do it? Mother Chen looked at Chen's father with great disdain. I can't do it, you do it. So many names, how can I remember them all at once? Forget it, let's go and ask my son later. Mother Chen nodded helplessly, it can only be like this, but we still try to remember the names, otherwise, my daughter-in-law will think that we don't like these 10 babies and can't even remember their names. Mother Chen said, and suddenly slapped her forehead, No, I thought of something else. What is it? Dad Chen asked curiously. We can find sons to fill in the names, but 10 babies look the same, I can't match the numbers. Now my head hurts a little, I can't tell which one is the second baby, which is the fourth baby, which is the third baby, and which is the fifth baby. I only know that odd numbers are girls and even numbers are boys. Mother Chen's headache is getting worse and worse as she thinks about the names of the babies. What should I do? Old man, do you have any ideas? Dad Chen shook his head and said helplessly, Even you can't match the numbers, let alone someone like me who is face blind. Mother Chen rolled her eyes at Dad Chen and sighed, Forget it, there's nothing I can count on you for. Let's calculate how much money is in the bank card. What's the point of calculating money? Dad Chen asked puzzledly while taking out his mobile phone. Hearing this question, Chen's mother rolled her eyes again and said unhappily, Why count the money? Raising a child doesn't cost money. Do you know how much it costs to raise a child? Just the milk powder, diapers, and various toys are a huge expense. What's more, we have 10 children. I didn't know before that there were 10 grandchildren, so forget it. Now that I know, I have to help a little bit. My son graduated from college and he must not have found a job yet. My daughter-in-law has been giving birth and taking care of the children for the past few years. She must not be able to go to work. I really don't know how they raised the children so big. I guess they asked her parents for money. 10 children, my daughter-in-law can't take care of them alone. They are young and have to rent a house in the city. No matter how frugal they are, it will cost at least 20,000 to 30,000 yuan a month. Hearing this, Chen's father took a breath. This expense is really huge. At least 20,000 to 30,000 yuan a month? Chen's father and mother immediately opened their mobile banking account and calculated their savings, and found that they still had nearly 1 million. Mother Chen made a decision immediately. After buying vegetables, we will go to the town to apply for a bank card, and then transfer 500,000 yuan to the card. When the time comes, give the card to my daughter-in-law so that she doesn't worry about money. In the future, both of us will work harder and make more money. Now that prices have risen, pork prices have also risen, and crayfish are also selling very well. If we raise more, it will not be a problem to earn hundreds of thousands a year. My daughter-in-law has worked so hard and gave birth to 10 babies for our Chen family. We can't let her suffer. Dad Chen nodded and said in great agreement, yes, no matter how hard it is, we can't let my daughter-in-law suffer. This card must be handed over to my daughter-in-law, not to your son. As a man, he certainly knows the cunning mind of men. Chen Fei has just graduated from college. If he is given so much money, it is inevitable that he will spend the money everywhere. At this time, Chen Fei would be stunned if he heard his parents' conversation. Because he never knew that his family was so rich. The deposit reached millions. Although for urban families, a deposit of 1 million is nothing. But this is a rural area, and it is already very good to have so much money. Before, his parents always told him that there was not much money at home. The family had already emptied their savings to support him to go to college. So when he was in college, he would work as a substitute and work hard to make money to support himself. As for the Rolls-Royce that Tang Qingyang parked in the yard, Mother and Father Chen did not know it. In their cognition, only Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and Audi were good cars. So they mistakenly thought that Rolls-Royce was just a larger van. In addition, they also thought that this car should be rented by Chen Fei. With so many children, it is easy to get lost if they come back by car, so it is safer to drive by themselves. In short, in their opinion, the current life of their son and daughter-in-law must not be too affluent, and they need their help. Chapter 19, Sleeping in the Same Room with Fei Chen. The other side. The children continued to stay in the yard, playing with the little yellow chicken and the newly weaned puppy. Chen Fei let the little dog out of the doghouse. It is a yellow Chinese native dog. It looks chubby and sways when it walks, which is very cute. In addition, there were a few little kids following behind. The picture looks particularly warm. It had been a long time since Tang Qingyang saw the babies so happy, and the expression on her face softened a lot. Then let's go back after dinner tonight. Tang Qingyang looked at Fei Chen and said, I guess there's no going back. Chen Fei lay on the old man's chair and said lazily, if I go back, my parents might be angry. After dinner, I will take you to the town to buy some things. Think about what you want to buy. Stay here tonight. Tang Qingyang said with some surprise. Yes, it's not easy for the children to come here. If they leave after dinner, my parents will definitely not agree. And it takes a lot of time to go back and forth. Don't tire the children out. But Tang Qingyang hesitated for a moment, her pretty face turning red with embarrassment. If she lived here, wouldn't she have to sleep in the same room with Fei Chen? Fei Chen turned his head and looked at his wife. Seeing her rosy face, like a red apple, makes people want to take a bite. Very tempting. He smiled and said jokingly, but what? But Tang Qingyang paused, then continued, but I didn't bring any clothes, and it's okay. Didn't I just say I'd take you to buy it? No need to buy. She is not used to wearing the clothes sold outside. Everything she wears is custom made for her by the world's top designers. Moreover, the materials are very suitable for her skin. The clothes sold outside are harmful to her delicate skin. So you want to wear my clothes? Chen Fei narrowed his eyes, looked at the fullness in front of Tang Qingyang, and said with a smile, I just don't know if you will feel a little crowded in front of my clothes when you wear them. You? Tang Qingyang felt a little embarrassed when Chen Fei looked at her. She quickly covered her chest with her hands, bit her lip, and said coquettishly, who said I want to wear your clothes? Then you won't wear it. Fei Chen laughed. You're not wearing it. Being teased by Chen Fei, Tang Qingyang's face turned red so much that it almost bled, and even her ears were flushed. Seeing her like this, Fei Chen became even more excited. I wonder if there will be any substantial progress between the two of them tonight. After all, that night 3 years ago, both of them were drunk and had sex without thinking. I didn't enjoy the joy of creating a human being at all. Fei Chen smiled and then jokingly asked, "What are you thinking about?" "What I mean is, if you don't want to wear my clothes, you can wear my mother's." Chen Fei looked at Tang Qingyang with a chuckle. "You?" Tang Qingyang was so angry that she almost vomited blood. She knew that Chen Fei was a man who never said good things. She rolled her eyes and glared at Fei Chen fiercely, her expression extremely charming and seductive. "She looks just like a little girl who is angry with her boyfriend. I won't live in the same room with you anyway." Puff. "What are you laughing at?" "Har har har. If you laugh again, I'll hit you." "I'm laughing at you. We've already got our marriage certificate, and we don't live together. Do we still have to sleep in separate rooms? Can you take care of so many babies by yourself?" Chen Fei grabbed Tang Qingyang's small hand and teased her palm. Tang Qingyang immediately pulled her hand out. Her pretty face flushed, she turned her head away, bit her lip and said, I can. "Really?" Chen Fei didn't believe that Tang Qingyang, a girl, could take care of 10 babies at the same time at night. Because he knew that Tang Qingyang was busy with work and had no time to take care of the baby. So Tang Qingyang hired 10 nannies to look after them. "Of course it's true, it's not like I haven't taken care of you before. Anyway, no matter what, I can't live in the same room with Chen Fei." Because she was not ready to sleep with Chen Fei, nor was she ready to do that. Although she decided to get married with Chen Fei. But it was mainly because of the babies. She didn't want them to live in a world without a father since childhood. That's why she chose to marry Chen Fei. As for the rest, we'll talk about it later. Although at this time, there were some changes in her previous plans. For example, she originally thought that after marrying Chen Fei, they would live separately and not live together. But now, she was willing to try living with Chen Fei to see if they could develop feelings for each other. "But we haven't reached the point of living together yet. Thanks for your hard work." See Tang Qingyang make a decision. Chen Fei did not continue to persuade, but said these 3 words. These words came from his heart, and he had no intention of deliberately teasing Tang Qingyang. Hearing this, Tang Qingyang's body trembled. He turned around and looked at Fei Chen. At this time, Fei Chen had already sat up from his chair, patted Tang Qingyang's shoulder, and held her in his arms. He wrapped her possessively in his arms. "Wife, I won't let you work so hard anymore. No matter what happens in the future, I will share the burden with you. So, don't worry, if you are not ready, I won't do anything to you, and don't think too much. I just want to take care of the children with you. After all, we are now a couple, and we have 10 children to raise. If we sleep in separate rooms, what will my parents think of us? And how will they think of you? Besides, the children will also think that we are not loving. Originally, those 5 rebellious sons were hostile to me. What you are doing will only give them a bad impression of me. My daughters would also feel uneasy. When they see us sleeping in separate rooms, they would worry that mom and dad are going to divorce or something like that. Don't underestimate the imagination of children. Sometimes, they think more than us adults. So, we're not just staying together tonight. We have to live together every day from now on, not for us, but for the children." After hearing this, Tang Qingyang couldn't find any reason to refute. "I even think it makes sense. Yes. She can't be so selfish. Just because she didn't want to live with Chen Fei, she ignored the children's feelings. So, she nodded and said, then. I'll try it." Chapter 20. A Real Man. "Dad, there are grapes here, but I can't pick them. I want to eat grapes." At this moment, Tang ran towards Chen Fei from a distance. As she ran, she pointed at several bunches of purple grapes hanging on the wall. Just now, the little ones were busy chasing chickens and playing with dogs. So I didn't notice that there were several grapevines planted in the yard, and they were full of grapes. Because the grapevines bear fruit too high for them to reach. I can only ask my dad for help. Fei Chen picked up Tang and said to Tang Qingyang, "Wife, go to the kitchen and get a basin. Let's pick grapes." The sun was shining brightly this year, and the grapes grew large and had beautiful colors. You can tell from the appearance that the taste will definitely be good. "Oh, pick grapes, pick grapes." Tang raised her little hands and started cheering. The red face was not only covered with sweat, but also with some mud. Chen Fei helped her wipe off the mud and pinched her chubby little face. You know what, a child's face is very tender and smooth, just like a freshly peeled egg. Little greedy cat, daddy will lift you up high. Would you please go pick the grapes yourself? When Tang Tang heard this, her eyes widened immediately. She clapped her dirty little hands and said excitedly, "Great, great, I want to pick the grapes myself, I want to pick the grapes myself." Okay, Tang Tang, pick it yourself. Since becoming a father, Chen Fei feels full of sense of accomplishment. Any small action can bring about a huge response from children. At this time, the other 4 girls also ran over after hearing the noise. Daddy, I want one too. I want to lift my nest high, and I want to pick grapes. I want to ride a big horse, I want to pick grapes, and I want to eat 10 grapes. The daughters gathered around Fei Chen and started talking at once. The other 5 kids also looked at this side with softer eyes, not as hostile as at the beginning. However, due to Fei's concerns, they still did not come. I could only stand aside and mutter to myself. Erbao whispered, "I don't want to be lifted up high. I am a man. I want to grow up quickly and pick it myself." Sibao also agreed and said, "Yes, a real man doesn't need help from others." Liu Bao rolled his eyes, looked at a loquat tree nearby and said, "We can climb up from here and pick the fruits ourselves." The loquat trees are planted next to the grapevines. Some of the vines are wrapped around the tree trunks and are also full of grapes. If you can climb up this loquat tree, you can also pick grapes. Erbao said excitedly, "Yes, 6th brother is so smart, he does what he says, go first." Seeing this, Babao hurriedly said, "Brother, don't do that. If your diaper gets hung on the tree, you'll be hung up." After Erbao heard this, his face turned black. The other 3 kids covered their faces. Erbao, as the eldest brother, made up his mind immediately for the sake of face, "Let's go find mom and take off the diaper. A man doesn't wear diapers. I'll go too, and I'll be a man too." Sibao also stood up and shouted excitedly. As soon as he shouted this, he immediately attracted the attention of his 5 sisters. Being looked at by them like this, a sense of pride suddenly rose in Sibao's heart. He straightened his chest and said in a manly voice, "Let's go find Mama. I want to pick grapes." After saying that, Sibao ran happily towards the direction where Tang Qingyang was. Liu Bao was stunned for a moment and said, "Has 4th brother changed his personality?" Babao, yeah, when we told him to stop wearing diapers, he reacted the most strongly. Shabao, maybe, he has grown up. Erbao, let's go find Mama. The 5 little guys ran to Tang Qingyang in a mighty manner, wanting to take off their diapers and become real men. Chen Fei saw their 5 rebellious sons and wondered what they were plotting. I didn't care about them either. Instead, he took his daughter to the grapevines, lifted Tang Tang up high, and let her pick the grapes first. Little Dumpling picked a grape and subconsciously put it into his mouth. "You can't eat it." Tang Qingyang saw this scene from a distance and shouted hurriedly, "Wash it before eating." Tang Tang was so frightened that she froze and looked at Chen Fei blankly. Fei Chen smiled at Tang Qingyang and said, "It's okay. Fruit trees in the countryside are never sprayed with pesticides. You can eat as much as you want. His children don't like being spoiled." Seeing this, Tang Qingyang wanted to say something, but after hesitating for a moment, she didn't say anything. She brought the fruit basket to Fei Chen and said, "I'm going to change Erbao's diapers. You keep an eye on the girls. Don't worry, it's okay. Wugwa, you are responsible for carrying the basket. When my sister picks the grapes, you will lift the basket and catch the grapes. Can you do it?" Fei Chen looked at Wugwa and asked. Wugwa nodded vigorously and replied loudly, "Yes. Dad, can I be responsible for eating?" At this time, Coco licked her lips and asked curiously. Mai Mai also poked her head out, raised her hands and said, "I have to eat too. I promise I can complete Daddy's task successfully." Har har har. Okay, then you guys wait and take turns to eat. Facing these foodie daughters, Fei Chen shook his head helplessly. Then, he looked at Tang Qingyang beside him and gave her a reassuring look, indicating that he was fine. Tang Qingyang nodded. In Xingtang Group, she is an autocratic female president. But in front of Chen Fei, she turned into a little wife and would listen to whatever her husband said. Moreover, this is also an opportunity for Chen Fei to perform and enhance his relationship with the children. So, Tang Qingyang left very quickly. After Tang Qingyang left, only then did Tang Tang dare to put the grapes in her hand into her mouth and began to chew them. The next second, her eyes narrowed into slits. So sweet and delicious. These were seedless grapes, so Tang Tang chewed them twice and swallowed them directly. Seeing this scene, the sisters below started drooling. I want a nest too, I want a nest too. Delicious grapes, I want some too. Sister Tang Tang, give me one quickly, I can't wait. Okay, I'll pick grapes for you right away. You just wait downstairs. As the big sister, how could Tang Tang eat alone? So next, after eating 5 grapes in a row, she contentedly picked the grapes and prepared to throw them to her sisters below. The nest is about to be thrown away, you catch it. Looking at the grapes in her hand which were about to leave her, Tang Tang still felt a little reluctant. Yeah, throw it quickly. We can catch it, hurry up, sister. The 4 little babies shouted at Tang Tang while swallowing their saliva. Even if the grapes are thrown down, they can catch them with their mouths without using a basket. The next second, Tang Tang's little hand loosened. The grapes fell down, and Wugwa grabbed the basket and caught them with incredible accuracy. A bunch of plump grapes look extremely tempting. They all looked at Fei Chen. Seeing his daughter's eager looks, Fei Chen smiled and said, "Eat quickly. Each person can only eat 5. It's not good to eat too much." After all, the grapes were not washed and the children were hungry. He was worried that eating too much would be bad for the children's stomachs. Aha! Sister Tang Tang has already finished her share. Tang Tang. Who is so talkative? Do you still want me to pick grapes for you? Seeing the sisters reporting her, Tang Tang, who was sitting on Chen Fei's shoulders, looked extremely speechless. Chapter 21 Rewards God-level rock climbing skills. The other side. Tang Qingyang changed her son's diapers. After washing their little butts, I let them move around freely. At the beginning, the kids were a little uncomfortable not wearing diapers. After all, I have nothing to hold in my pocket, so I always feel cold. But when they arrived in the yard, this feeling suddenly disappeared, because they saw their sisters actually starting to eat grapes there. A sour feeling arose from the bottom of their hearts. Bao licked his lips and said enviously, "What big grapes! I really want to eat some. Sibao, let's go pick grapes." Bao, do it yourself, we will have enough food and clothing, we don't need a man to help us. The 5 little guys, like a group of dolls, walked towards the direction of the grapevines in a heroic and high-spirited manner. He saw 5 rebellious sons rushing towards him. Chen Fei smiled and ignored it. However, when he saw these 5 rebellious sons, after changing their diapers, they actually wanted to climb trees. He rushed over immediately and stood in front of the loquat tree. Stop them from climbing trees. The leader, Xian, saw Fei Chen standing in front of them and his eyes immediately turned fierce. Fei Chen smiled and said, "Want to climb a tree? Sure, but you have to change your crotchless pants. You can't climb in these pants. Although this loquat tree is not tall, there are many ants and insects on the tree. If you wear open crotch pants, you are likely to be bitten by insects. This is a matter of great importance to the lifelong happiness of these kids, so we cannot be careless." "No." Bao Xian said with his neck stiff. Fei Chen ignored them and said to Tang Qingyang, who was not far away, "Wife, Bao and the others want to climb a tree, please help them change their crotchless pants, otherwise their little birds will be scratched, which is related to their lifelong sexual happiness." Bao's little face suddenly turned red. How embarrassing. I originally thought that I could become a real man by changing my diapers. I didn't expect that there is such a thing as open crotch pants. When the other kids heard what Chen Fei said, they all stopped. He lowered his head and looked at his open crotch pants. I think what Chen Fei said makes sense. Har, okay. Tang Qingyang was slightly stunned, then said with a smile. The nanny car has a large space and can hold a lot of things, mostly daily necessities for children. Of course, there are also some clothes and so on. Children like to play everywhere and get dirty easily. Therefore, it is very necessary to always keep several sets of clothes in the nanny car. After helping the children change their open crotch pants, these little guys returned to the loquat tree. But this time, they were not as excited as before. Instead, they stood under the tree, playing with their fingers boredly. Are you guys still crawling? Bao asked cautiously. Bao looked at his sisters on the other side of the grapevine, their mouths full of grape juice, and couldn't help swallowing his saliva. He said firmly, climb, you must climb. He would never give up unless he got to eat the grapes today. Sibao, Liubao and Shabao didn't say anything, but the eager expressions on their faces were enough to explain everything. However, Sibao felt that if they went over now, the man would definitely stop them. So I interrupted and said, "Let's wait until that guy leaves, then we'll go." The other 4 kids nodded in agreement. Chen Fei sighed. I picked a large basket full of grapes. The 5 babies were all very satisfied with the meal, so Fei Chen took them to play with other things. However, just as they were about to leave the grapevine, they saw the boys preparing to climb the loquat tree not far away. "Dad, are they going to climb a tree?" Dabao Tang Tang asked curiously. "Climb a tree?" Hearing these 2 words, Keek immediately became interested, waving her hands and shouting, "I want to crawl even in the nest. So is my home. And me, I want to climb a tree too." One stone stirs up 1,000 ripples, and the milk balls start chirping again. Bite. Detect that the babies want to climb trees, reward the host with god-level rock climbing skills, and instantly become a global rock climbing master. As soon as the system finished speaking, a lot of knowledge about rock climbing emerged in Chen Fei's mind, including but not limited to rock climbing techniques, rock climbing equipment, rock climbing thinking, etc. Moreover, the system not only instilled a lot of knowledge into him. His body was also changing. If you want to become a rock climbing master, theoretical knowledge alone is far from enough. At the same time, physical fitness must also keep up. A moment later, when Chen Fei opened his eyes again, he felt that his whole body was filled with strength. Even the flat belly began to become firm. The whole world has become a little different. Looking at the loquat tree in front of him, he was able to quickly analyze where to start climbing and which was the easiest place to reach the top. In addition to these, he also felt that the clothes on his body became tighter. He felt the tightness. He originally bought this shirt yesterday to look for a job. But now, it is obviously much smaller. "Dad. Hurry up and take us to climb a tree." Coco shook Fei Chen's arm and said coquettishly. Seeing Chen Fei standing there in a daze and not saying anything for a long time, they thought that their father did not agree with them climbing trees. That's why I hugged his arm and started to act coquettishly. But after shaking for a while, she widened her eyes, looked at Chen Fei in disbelief and said, "Dad, why do I feel like you've become more handsome?" Hearing this, Wugwa's eyes lit up and he echoed, "Yes, yes, Daddy has become more handsome, taller and more powerful." "Wow, what a hunk!" Wu Bao opened her little mouth sweetly and exclaimed, "Daddy's clothes are about to burst." Wugwa shouted towards Tang Qingyang, "Mom, Daddy's clothes are too small, we need to change into bigger clothes. Daddy is just like us. He has grown up and needs to change clothes too. Little ones, since they are growing, they need to change into new clothes every once in a while." They thought that their dad had grown up just like them. Hearing the baby's cries, Tang Qingyang subconsciously looked up and found that the shirt on Chen Fei was indeed a little small. If Chen Fei was a young and handsome man before, now, he is a wild and handsome guy full of masculine charm. It's really hormone-filled. This kind of Chen Fei made it even more difficult for her to resist. She walked in front of Fei Chen, her heartbeat began to speed up, and her pretty face turned red with embarrassment. What is going on? The perceptive Chen Fei also noticed something strange about Tang Qingyang. In order to ease the embarrassment, Tang Qingyang had to walk up to her daughters and take out wet tissues to wipe their mouths. A gentle breeze blew, and the hair on Tang Qingyang's head was blown away. She reached out her hand and gently smoothed her temples, and the scene looked beautiful beyond words. Fei Chen stood there, stunned. Chapter 22 is filmed into a video, it will definitely go viral on TikTok. "Dad, can we climb the tree now? My brothers are about to start climbing." Coco looked eagerly at the loquat tree, and the 5 little guys were already eager to try. "Come on, Daddy will take you to climb a tree." With god-level rock climbing skills, Chen Fei can now easily climb up even a cliff dozens of meters high. "Just a loquat tree, what's that?" He held his 2 daughters in each hand, with another sitting on his head, and walked straight towards the loquat tree. Seeing this scene, Tang Qingyang was stunned. Chen Fei, can you hold me like this?" Tang Qingyang asked with some concern. After all, our daughters are now over 2 years old, and each weighs 30 kilograms. Together, the 5 of them weigh 150 kilograms. This power is too outrageous. Fei Chen really enjoyed Tang Qingyang's surprised look. He smiled and said, "It's okay. Another one is no problem. Do you want to try? Tang Qingyang subconsciously took a step back. She felt that the Chen Fei in front of her was like a ferocious beast that had traveled through time from ancient times. The power is amazing. I don't know what she was thinking about, but her pretty face blushed again. Dad is so awesome. Tang Tang, who was sitting on top of Chen Fei, clapped her hands and shouted. Mom, come too. Yes, don't be shy, Daddy is super strong. Let's let Daddy hug us and drive a train together. Faced with her daughter's cordial invitation, Tang Qingyang frowned, then found an excuse and said, Mom has something else to do, so I'll leave first. After saying that, Tang Qingyang walked away without looking back in her high heels and long beautiful legs. Seeing this scene, Fei Chen burst into laughter. Hearing Chen Fei's laughter, Tang Qingyang staggered and almost sprained her leg. She stopped only when she returned to their house. Leaning in the corner, he secretly looked at the tall and mighty Chen Fei in the yard. My face is a little hot. Thinking that she would have to live in the same room with Chen Fei tonight, she felt complicated. It seems that tonight is destined to be a sleepless night. Chen Fei sighed. When he came to the loquat tree with his 5 daughters in his arms. Erbao has already passed the loquat tree and climbed onto the grape trellis, where he is eating grapes, looking like he is giving orders. The 4 little guys below also looked eager to try. See this scene. Chen Fei smiled, he was indeed his own offspring. He is so good at climbing trees, but compared to me, he is still a little bit behind. I saw Chen Fei coming over with his 5 daughters. The 5 naughty kids were instantly frightened by the scene. Babao, oh my god, this guy is too powerful, right? Shabao, he can hold 5 people by himself. He is even more powerful than Ultraman. I want to be like him in the future. Liu Bao, Humph, what's so great about this? I can do this when I grow up. Erbao, it seems that I have to start working hard to train. I must be stronger than this boy in the future. Several naughty kids started to complain in their hearts. Dad, do we want to climb this tree too? After arriving at the destination, the little cuties slid down from Fei Chen's shoulders and looked at the loquat tree in front of them and asked. Fei Chen smiled and pointed to another bigger tree nearby and said, No, let's climb this one. There are 2 trees on this side of the grape trellis. One is a loquat tree and the other is a bayberry tree. This bayberry tree was planted here when Chen Fei was born. It is more than 10 times larger than the loquat tree. It would take 2 or 3 adults to surround the tree trunk alone. At this time, it is the season when bayberries are ripe, and countless red bayberries are hanging on the tree. Climb this one. The daughters were shocked when they heard this. Even the 5 rebellious sons who had already climbed up the grape trellis one after another sat there in a daze. This bayberry tree is at least 20 meters tall. If you want to climb up, you not only need good physical strength, but also need to know climbing skills. Sibao stretched his neck and shouted to the people below, Boast. Yes, he must be bragging. This bayberry tree is so tall, how can I climb up it? I don't believe it, he must be bragging. Liu Bao echoed loudly. Erbao crossed his arms and said disdainfully, What's so surprising about this? Although this tree is big, it has many branches. It's easy to climb up. In Erbao's opinion, Chen Fei probably just climbed to the first fork of the tree trunk. It is only 1.5 meters above the ground. Compared with them, I'm still a little bit behind, it's not difficult. Liu Bao suddenly realized, yes, it's not difficult to climb up. Babao muttered quietly, Why do I feel that the boy can climb to the top of the tree? Shabao also nodded and agreed, Yeah, I think so too. Suddenly, the 2 of them were met with deathly gazes from their 3 brothers. The 2 brothers immediately covered their mouths and pretended that they had not said anything. Chen Fei sighed. He put down the 5 milk bowls one by one. Looking at the bayberry tree in front of him, he said to his daughters, Dad will climb up first to see if there is any danger. Once he is sure it is safe, he will take you to climb. Fei Chen caressed his daughters' little heads lovingly. Yeah, Daddy is the best. Come on, Daddy, we're waiting for you down there. Dad, I want to eat bayberries. Can you pick some? I want some too. I love eating bayberry the most. It's sour and sweet. As the girls talked, they started to think about eating yarnmai again. Fei Chen shook his head helplessly. Okay, Dad will climb up and see if these bayberries are ripe. After saying that, he kicked hard. He hung his hands on the tree trunk, and then used the reaction force of his body to climb directly up to the fork of the trunk. His started. 5 rebellious sons sitting on the grape trellis. While eating grapes, he looked at Chen Fei intently. Babao and Shabao actually had some hope in their hearts that Chen Fei could climb to the top of the tree, because they have slowly begun to accept that Fei Chen is their father. However, due to his brothers, he pretended to be hostile to Fei Chen. Just a few seconds. Chen Fei had already climbed along the trunk to the center of the tree, 10 meters above the ground. Seeing this scene, the 5 daughters clapped their hands. The 5 rebellious sons were dumbfounded, their mouths opened as wide as if they could swallow a whole egg. They watched in disbelief. The man who had climbed to a height of 10 meters. Chen Fei. Because they climbed too high, they could only look up and squint their eyes. Sibao, is this true? Liu Bao, fuck, he looks like Batman. Bao, he must have cheated. It only took a few seconds and he climbed to the middle of the tree. This is impossible. It took them a lot of effort to climb the loquat tree just now. Moreover, in order to climb up, the postures are all very strange and there is absolutely no appreciation value at all. But at this time, Chen Fei used all kinds of climbing techniques. It can be said to be flying over eaves and walking on walls. So cool. If it were made into a video, it would definitely be popular on TikTok. Chapter 23 Mr. Tang behaves out of character. Wow, Dad is so awesome. Dad is super awesome. Dad is the most handsome man in the universe. The 5 little cuties were shocked for half a minute. They quickly came to their senses and stood under the tree, holding hands and cheering for their dad. Hearing his daughter's voices, Fei Chen smiled. He climbed to the center of the tree trunk, which was spacious enough for him to sit down. Before preparing to reach the top, he looked again at his rebellious sons sitting on the grape trellis. They were just sitting there. Data I. Fei Chen said silently to the system. Then, a series of data appeared in front of Chen Fei. Name, Kai Kai. Appearance, 98 points. Favorability, 55%. Hobbies, reading, sleeping, exploring. Personality, sunny and cheerful, likes sweet food, a sunny and warm man. After reading Babao's data, Fei Chen couldn't help but grin. Not bad, Babao's favorability towards me has increased to 55%. Compared to the previous negative number, it is already a qualitative leap. Then I looked at the data of other rebellious sons. In addition, the favorability of 8 treasures and 10 treasures has risen to more than 50%. The favorability of the other few rebellious sons also increased slightly. At least, all negatives have been turned into positives. The minimum is 5%. The highest has reached 34%. Yes, that is a good sign. And this is just the beginning. My dear sons, in the days to come, I will let you see what it means to be the best dad. Har har. Chen Fei was in a very good mood and continued to climb to the top of the tree. The higher they climbed, the thinner the branches became, but with God-level climbing skills, Fei was like a monkey in the woods. It took less than 2 minutes to climb to the top of the bayberry tree. Since it is at the very top, there is no place for people to stand at all. So he could only half hang there. From this position, looking into the distance, you can have a panoramic view of the entire village. This feeling is so fucking great. This skill rewarded by the system is quite good. At least it helps him realize his childhood dream. That is to climb to the top of the bayberry tree and overlook the entire village. Under the bayberry tree, 5 little cuties imitated Sun Wukong and put their hands on their eyes so that they could see father. Why can't I see daddy anymore? Daddy is missing. Coco pursed her lips and tears were about to come out as she spoke. As the eldest sister, Tang Tang came over and explained to her, Sister, Daddy is not missing, he just climbed to the top of the tree, look up again. This bayberry tree is more than 20 meters tall. The little guys were less than 1 meter tall, and even if they squinted their eyes, they couldn't see Chen Fei hanging on the top of the tree clearly. I could only see a vague figure. Wow, I see. Dad climbed to the top, that's amazing. As she said this, Coco jumped up, stopped crying, and clapped her hands non-stop. The 5 rebellious sons who were eating grapes were also dumbfounded at this moment. I was stunned for half a minute. Bao then said, that guy, is he Spider-Man in disguise? That's too awesome. Sibao also said, yes, he can climb even faster than Sun Wukong. Liu Bao, why do I feel so sour? Bao smiled and said stupidly, "Har har, that's because brother, you still have grapes in your mouth." "Shabao, I want to eat bayberry, grapes are not tasty." Inside the house. Just when the 10 babies were all shocked by Chen Fei's climbing skills, Tang Qingyan's cell phone suddenly rang. She took out her cell phone and answered the call. "Mr. Tang, today's international conference is about to begin. Look." The secretary's voice came from the other end of the phone. She originally wanted to ask when Tang Qingyang would be able to participate. But thinking back to the past, the chairman had never missed any meeting and was always on time. But this time, it was almost 6 o'clock and the chairman had not yet joined the video conference. That's why she called to remind Tang Qingyang. On the other end of the phone, Tang Qingyang looked at the time. There was still half a minute left before the video conference began. But considering that this meeting will take at least 2 hours. When Chen Fei's parents come back later, will it be bad if I am still in the meeting? Think of this. She said, "Oh," calmly, and then said, "Cancel the meeting and postpone it to 6 p.m. the day after tomorrow." The day after tomorrow. "Oh, okay. The female secretary didn't ask any more questions and agreed directly. But at this moment, her heart was in turmoil. Oh my god. Tang Qingyang is a well-known workaholic in the company. Ms. Tang insisted on going to work even when she was pregnant, and even the day after giving birth. Why did you miss the meeting this time? This is really shocking news. After hanging up the phone, the female secretary ran to the secretariat in high heels to announce the news. There are dozens of departments under Xintang Group. Therefore, Tang Qingyang alone has more than a dozen secretaries, all of whom are young, beautiful and top students. They form a secretariat. When they learned that Tang Qingyang had postponed the meeting, they all showed expressions of extreme shock. Oh my god, President Tang actually postponed the international conference. This meeting involves orders worth tens of billions of dollars. How can it be postponed just like that? Isn't this too outrageous? What happened to Mr. Tang? Is she still the Ms. Tang we know? I am completely stunned. Mr. Tang, who has never missed any meeting, is actually postponing the meeting now. I have never seen such a thing before. I know why. Because today, the man who made President Tang give birth to 10 babies appeared. Our President Tang must put everything aside and spend time with that man. Compared with that man, orders worth tens of billions are nothing. Fuck, there is such a thing. How come I didn't know that the legendary man came to the company? You are too behind the times. I told you to pay more attention to our company's internal employee group. Today, all the colleagues in the group were excited. This guy is so handsome. No wonder he can impress our billionaire CEO Tang. Honestly, if he wasn't Mr. Tang's man, I would have wanted to poach him. This man must be super capable in that area. If I could have sex with him, I would at least be able to give birth to quadruplets or something. I can't imagine how happy I would be then. You're courting death. How dare you go after Mr. Tang's man? You should know that no one who offends Mr. Tang will have a good ending. Yeah, I don't even dare to think about this kind of thing. After hearing the reminders from their colleagues, those infatuated female secretaries calmed down one after another. My back feels a little cold. Because Mr. Tang is so terrible. Those business rivals who offended her are now either in jail or delivering food. The ending is very miserable. Chapter 24 Quadruplets. At the same time, in a high-end residential area in Jiangcheng, Xutong was packing up at home, preparing to go to Tang Qingyan's house to become Chen Fei's disciple. I don't know why, but I suddenly sneezed. What a fool. You actually said bad things about me behind my back. Xutong muttered to herself as she packed her things. Tong Tong, do you really want to move to your cousin's house? Can you please not go? Beside Xutong, Xu's mother asked with a worried look on her face. Mom, don't worry. I'm just going to become a disciple, not to do anything else. Xutong said with a smile as she folded clothes. At this moment, her thoughts had already drifted to Tang Qingyan's house. I have already imagined what I would look like when I return from my studies. Mother Xu sighed and looked at the crib in the living room, where 4 babies were sleeping soundly. 2 boys and 2 girls, very cute. That's right, these 4 children are Xutong's children. 2 years ago, when she saw her cousin Tang Qingyang giving birth to 10 babies, she, as her cousin, was filled with envy. So I found someone who sold sperm and had in vitro fertilization. Unexpectedly, she was not much inferior to Tang Qingyang and gave birth to quadruplets. This helped the competitive Shutong regain some of her self-esteem. But if you live there, what will happen to the children? This matter will be exposed sooner or later. Those two boys look so much like him. They are just like they were cast from the same mold. Mother Shu said with a worried look on her face. But when she saw the babies in the cribs, she smiled again. Because these babies are so cute. Although she is only 9 months old, she is very pretty, like a porcelain doll. They lay there, sucking their fingers. Like a little angel, he simply melted her heart. Shu Tong picked up the suitcase, then looked at Shu's mother and said, "Mom, the children must come with me. I still have to feed them at night. Besides, I feel bad if I don't see them for a day. As for Erbao and Sibao, you don't have to worry about them looking like that man. There are so many people in this world who look alike. Are they all related? Besides, the babies haven't grown up yet. Maybe he won't look like that when he grows up." Hearing this, Aunt Shu stood up immediately and asked, You want to take the child over?" Before Shu Tong could speak, Shu's mother waved her hand. "No. Absolutely not. Not to mention whether taking it over would cause any misunderstanding. Now she has no way to leave these for children. If she doesn't see them for a day, she will go crazy. Then Mom, why don't you and the baby come live with me? Sister Qingyan's house is very big, with more than a dozen rooms, so it's no problem for our whole family to live there," Shu Tong suggested. "No." Shumar immediately shook her head and said coldly, "We're going to live there, what's the big deal? And you are not allowed to go either, he and Qingyang are married." Hearing this, Shu Tong said helplessly, "I know, I won't destroy Sister Qingyan's happiness, I just went there to learn photography from him, what are you thinking? Besides, I will never get married in my life. If you hadn't forced me to get married, saying that being a photographer had no future, I would have been better off finding a good family to marry. I wouldn't have thought of that. Now that you have grandchildren, you don't have to envy Sister Qingyan's 10 children. I'm also going to start pursuing my career. Chen Fei's photography skills are really amazing. I can't find a photographer like him anywhere in the world. And he is still so young. His future achievements will definitely far exceed mine. And now I have reached a bottleneck. If I want to move to the next level, I must find a teacher who is far superior to me, and Chen Fei is the perfect choice. So Mom, don't stop me. Don't worry, as long as you don't tell me and I don't tell you, who will know whose child this is? Even Dad doesn't know. Only the two of us and the man who sold our sperm know about it. But I've already paid that man 20 million to immigrate to the United States. You don't have to worry." After hearing this, Shumar pondered for a moment, and finally said awkwardly, "Oh. No, I'm already this old, and it's so embarrassing to live with you young people." In addition to this, she was also worried that the matter would be leaked. When that time comes, thinking about that scene, her toes will burst. What's more, she is not an actor, nor is she as clever as Shu Tong. It is only a matter of time before the secret is leaked. In that case, you should stay at home. Anyway, I'm definitely going to go there, and I have to take the babies with me, they haven't been weaned yet. As Shu Tong spoke, she dragged her suitcase to the baby crib in the living room. She bent down, reached out her hand and pinched the little guy's face. The baby was sleeping soundly, with his little lips slightly raised, revealing a sweet smile. Seeing this scene, Shu Tong felt that the whole world became warmer, and she said with maternal love, "My babies, Mommy really loves you." Chapter 25. Can you stay at home and take care of your child full time? The other side. Chen Fei and the children harvested 2 full baskets of bayberries. When Chen Fei jumped down from the tree, the children were so tired that they sat down on the ground. Although they were dirty and their faces were covered with sweat, their little faces were filled with happy smiles. Even the cold Erbao Xianxian rarely smiled. The 5 good daughters, seeing Fei Chen coming down, stood up again, ran to Fei Chen, and surrounded him, chattering, "Daddy, Daddy, can we eat bayberries now? How long will it take to finish eating so many bayberries? It's bright red and looks delicious. My mouth is watering." Fei Chen bent down, wiped the saliva off his daughters' faces, and said with a smile, "Dad will go wash you, and you can eat bayberries soon." After saying that, Fei Chen dusted himself off and looked at his 5 daughters and 5 sons. He praised them generously. "You all performed very well today and were very united. Daddy is very pleased. Let's go wash the baberries and eat them. Hearing their father's praise, the smiles on the daughters' faces became even brighter. Following Chen Fei closely, they prepared to eat baberries. The 5 rebellious sons also followed quietly, but at a distance. Baba whispered, "He just praised us." Yes, yes, I'm so happy. Shabao nodded vigorously, his face filled with joy. This was the first time he was praised by his father. However, the 3 brothers behind him had listless expressions on their faces. So they didn't dare to show their excitement too obviously. Seeing this, Erbao said sternly, "Look at how little you have accomplished. After being praised by that boy, you are already at a loss. If he gives you any more benefits, you will call him daddy." Sibao also echoed, "That's right. Don't fall for his tricks. Think about how hard mom worked to raise us. Where was he? How can you forgive him so easily?" Liu Bao also nodded and said, "Yes, we can't forgive him, we must fight to the end." Ba Bao pouted and said a little aggrievedly, "But, what if he didn't abandon Mama, but didn't know where Mama was, and didn't know about our existence?" Shabao also said, "Yes, so, this can't be blamed on him." Hearing what Ba Bao and Shabao said, the 3 brothers immediately rolled their eyes. "Anyway, no matter what, we must not give in easily, otherwise he really thinks that he can be our father so easily. Just plain, although I think is pretty good. But, we've only known each other for less than a day, I definitely won't call him daddy." Sibao also said it with a solemn oath. Ba Bao and Shabao looked at each other and said nothing more. She just quickened her pace, leaving her 3 brothers behind and catching up with her sisters. Seeing this scene, the 3 brothers' faces were suddenly filled with melancholy. Erbao shook his head and sighed helplessly, "It seems that our invincible 5-man team will now become a 3-man team." Sibao also said with emotion, "This guy is really amazing. He only took 1 day to dig out 2 of our teammates." Liu Bao said, "Ba Bao and Shabao were born late, their minds are not mature yet, it's normal for them to be deceived. Because just now, they couldn't help but want to follow. Fortunately, they are older brothers and have stronger wills." Erbao took a look at Chen Fei's tall figure and silently raised his little hand. The other 2 brothers also extended their hands tacitly. The 3 little fleshy palms overlapped and shouted in unison, "Come on. Fight to the end. Cheer up and cheer up." The 3 brothers ran towards Chen Fei happily again. "Although I have to fight against the big devil Chen Fei, I still have to eat baberries." Not far away. Tang Qingyang just hung up the phone. I happened to see this scene and a satisfied smile appeared on my face. As a mother, she certainly knew how stubborn her sons were, and she also knew how difficult it was to get them to accept Chen Fei as their father. She originally thought that within a year or so, her sons would ignore Chen Fei. I didn't expect that it only took 1 day. Ba Bao and Shabao have already rebelled. This incident was really beyond her expectations and made her feel a little unbelievable. How many secrets does this man in front of me have? Don't you know it? The longer she spent with Chen Fei, the more mysterious he became. He is like a mountain full of treasures. As you climb over time, you will slowly discover his value. Would you like to eat something? Chen Fei brought the washed baberries to the stone table in front of Tang Qingyang, then sat down beside her and carefully looked at his beautiful wife. Tang Qingyang picked up a bayberry, put it in her mouth and chewed it twice. "Is it tasty?" Chen Fei asked with a sharp gaze and a smile. "Yeah, very sweet." Tang Qingyang nodded and turned to look at Fei Chen. Soon, she saw the burning light in Fei Chen's eyes. Her face suddenly turned red and she said angrily, Can you please stop looking at me like that? So how do you want me to see you?" Chen Fei said jokingly. Tang Qingyang lowered her head, not daring to look directly at Fei Chen. She bit her red lips and changed the subject, "Don't you eat baberries? Do you want to feed me?" Fei Chen continued to joke. Tang Qingyang's face was so red that it seemed like blood was about to drip out. Since Chen Fei had just finished climbing a tree, he exuded a strong masculine aura. In addition, at this time, the 2 were very close. Tang Qingyang could even hear the sound of her own heartbeat, and she felt like she was about to turn into a puddle of water. Seeing Tang Qingyang's expression, Fei Chen picked up a bayberry and put it in his mouth, smiling and saying, "Wife, you are so cute. Are you like this at work?" "Of course not," Tang Qingyang quickly retorted. Speaking of the company, she suddenly thought of something and looked up at Fei Chen. "By the way, I have something I want to discuss with you." "What's up?" Fei Chen asked curiously. It's about the babies. Tang Qingyang hesitated for a moment, then continued, before, no matter where I went, I always took my baby with me, which was quite tiring for them. But I'm worried about leaving the child at home, so I'm wondering if you can stay at home and take care of the child full-time before he goes to kindergarten. At this point, Tang Qingyang was afraid that Fei Chen would disagree, so she continued, in another half a year, when the children are 3 years old, they can go to kindergarten. When the time comes, no matter what you want to do, I will support you. Of course, if you don't want to stay at home and take care of the baby full-time, we can discuss other solutions. Hearing this, Fei Chen nodded without thinking. I thought it was something else. Of course. The system he activated now was related to the child. Tang Qingyang is also a workaholic. And as the president of the company, she can't just give up her business and stay at home to take care of the kids every day, right? How inappropriate this is. One of them must make sacrifices and stay with the child. Give them a complete childhood. Moreover, she had been the one accompanying the children for the past 2 years, and he had missed a lot. So now, there is a chance for him to make amends. He certainly doesn't want to miss his children's growth again. Faced with Tang Qingyang's proposal, he did not hesitate at all and agreed directly. Tang Qingyang was stunned. She didn't expect Chen Fei to agree so readily. For most families, the man is the breadwinner and the woman is the homemaker. Many men with male chauvinism do not want to be full-time dads at home, as they feel that this hurts their self-esteem as men. But Chen Fei did not do that. Instead, he agreed readily. Not only did he not mind at all, he even looked expectant, which made her like the man in front of her even more. Ding-ling-ling. Just as Tang Qingyang was stunned, Chen Fei's cell phone rang. Chapter 26 Class Reunion, Own Property. Fei Chen. I heard you're back. A young man's voice came from the other end of the phone. He is Chen Fei's high school classmate Lin Jiatao, and he is also the first person in their class to get married. Yeah, I just got back today. Fei Chen replied calmly. Good fellow, you didn't even tell us old classmates when you came back. I heard that you got married. And your wife gave birth to 10 babies for you, 5 sons and 5 daughters. Old Chen, you are so lucky. On the other end of the phone, Lin Jiata began to talk freely. Unlike me, my wife gave birth to a daughter for me, but she refused to have another one no matter what. She is so spoiled. But there's nothing we can do about it. Her family is rich, so she has been spoiled since she was a child. When we got married, not only did we not have to give a dowry, my father-in-law even forced me to give him a red envelope of 2 million yuan, and bought me a small villa in the city, plus a Mercedes-Benz E-Class sedan. Alas, this matter makes me feel like I am a gigolo. My father-in-law said that raising a child is not easy and that you have to spend money everywhere. He told me to work hard and not let my daughter suffer with me. This has put me under a lot of pressure. It's so frustrating. You know what, raising a baby is really expensive nowadays. My baby was just born and I spent 200,000 yuan in just a few months. If this continues, I will have to work as a bricklayer at a construction site. Plus, every month, I have to pay 50,000 yuan. I have to use foreign milk powder and Japanese diapers. I have to use the best of everything. It really drives me crazy. But, you have 10 kids, so you don't need to raise them so carefully, and it won't cost much, right? Lin Jiatao's tone of voice was filled with misery. But the words that came out were full of superiority, and every word revealed an air of pretentiousness. This is the most popular anti-routine way of showing off nowadays. Playing the victim is just an appearance, pretending to be cool is the real thing. If you only know how to show off your wealth, you will easily be accused of having no substance and will easily arouse public anger. However, by playing the victim, one can achieve the effect of pretending to be cool, which can make people remember it deeply and cannot be refuted. By the way, Lao Chen. I called you this time mainly to tell you something. Summer vacation is almost here, and our class 8 of grade 3 is planning to have a class reunion. You are the only one in our class who was admitted to a key university, and you also gave birth to 10 babies. You are also the most popular girl in our class. You must not be absent. Remember to bring your wife and kids. The girls in our class are clamoring to meet you. They want to see how you are doing and who your wife is that could win you over. The party venue is at Yuanquan Villa. The scenery there is beautiful and very suitable for children to play. Remember to come. Class reunion. After hearing what Lin Jiatao said, Fei Chen began to recall. After not seeing each other for so many years, he really wants to meet his high school classmates. After all, some people did pretty well in high school. However, whether or not to bring my wife and children with me, I would have to ask Tang Qingyang's opinion on this. So, he looked at Tang Qingyang in front of him. Although his cell phone was not on loudspeaker, Tang Qingyang was sitting very close to him and Lin Jiatao spoke very loudly on the phone, so Tang Qingyang could naturally hear what he said. Before Fei Chen could speak, she nodded. Indicate that you can go. Chen Fei then said to the other end of the phone, no problem, I will bring my wife and children over. Well, you are worthy of being the class flower of our class, so refreshing. The location is set at Yuanquan Villa, the time is 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. I don't know who booked it there. The cost of this villa is very high, and the entertainment items also cost extra. My spendthrift daughter-in-law will definitely take my daughter out to play everywhere. Then I will have to spend a lot of money again. At least tens of thousands of dollars. It's really a headache. Having said that, Lin Jiatao hung up the phone. Chen Fei didn't take his boasting seriously at all. No matter how much you show off. Can you outshine him? Compared to me, you are all younger brothers. Har har har. After hanging up the phone, Fei Chen looked at Tang Qingyang and said, wife, if you are not free tomorrow, I can take the child there myself. It's okay, I'm free. Tang Qingyang smiled and said, besides, I also want to go see your high school classmates and get to know you better. Fei Chen laughed and said cheerfully, okay, then we'll take the kids out for a family trip tomorrow. I'll check where the source villa is. No need to check, I know. Seeing Chen Fei open Baidu and prepare to search, Tang Qingyang said hurriedly. Have you been there? Tang Qingyang lifted her hair and said softly, no, but this Yuanquan Villa is also an industry under my company. It is a resort that integrates leisure and entertainment. Hearing this, Fei Chen was speechless. He never imagined that this Yuanquan Villa would actually be the property of Tang Qingyang's company. Chen Fei found it a little funny when he thought of the sense of superiority that Lin Jiatao had exuded on the phone just now. A place that makes him proud and reluctant to spend money. It's actually my own territory. Wife. How much property do you have left? Chen Fei couldn't help but ask. Tang Qingyang thought for a moment and replied, not much, it just broke through 1 trillion. There are at least a dozen families like mine in the country. Chen Fei was amused by his wife's words. You are too modest. Others are worth trillions, that is all the assets of a family. And you are a human being, how can this be compared? Oh, honey, I haven't told you about my family's situation yet. You've seen my family's situation. My parents are self-employed. They contract fish ponds and fields, and do some agricultural products and breeding. Their annual income should be over 100,000 yuan. I don't know the exact amount. Fei Chen scratched his head and said embarrassedly. My family's situation is a bit complicated. It's hard to explain right now. Wait till tonight and I'll give you a list of my property. Now that we're married, what's mine is yours. Seeing Chen Fei explain his family background, Tang Qingyang also followed suit. Har har, wife. Hearing Tang Qingyang's words, Fei Chen couldn't help but joked, you are so rich, aren't you afraid that I will divorce you and take half of your money and run away? You won't. Tang Qingyang said in a decisive tone. Chen Fei was stunned by her sudden trust, and then felt a little embarrassed. He laughed and said, it seems that my wife knows me very well, but I don't know my wife very well. How about we get to know her better tonight? You? Hearing this, Tang Qingyang blushed and glared at Fei Chen fiercely. Then he turned away embarrassedly. At this moment, there was a sudden sound of wailing from the other side of the yard. Wow wow wow. I saw Sibao sitting on the ground, crying very sadly. Chapter 27, Divine Medical Skills, Shaken for Treasures. See this scene. Chen Fei was startled and ran over quickly. Wow wow. Sibao sat on the ground and cried loudly. Upon seeing this, Fei Chen immediately used his data eye to start checking. Sibao Yarn Yarn cried loudly because he had stomach problems after eating unwashed bakeries. It turned out that it was because he ate unclean bakeries. But I clearly washed it, how could this happen? It must be these little bastards who sneaked into the basket and took it while I wasn't paying attention. At this moment, the system's voice came again. Bite. Detecting that the baby is having a stomachache, reward God-level medical skills. As soon as he finished speaking, a large amount of knowledge about acupuncture, pulse diagnosis, prescriptions, etc., all flooded into Chen Fei's mind. Just a few seconds. Chen Fei felt that his understanding of Chinese medicine had reached an unprecedented level. It instantly made him a national master of traditional Chinese medicine. When he opened his eyes again, the world seemed to have changed. Looking at the bayberry on the table, its properties suddenly appeared before my eyes. Yangmai, it can quench thirst, harmonize the stomach and help digestion, astringe the intestines, relieve alcohol, stop bleeding, etc. It can be used to treat a variety of diseases. Although bayberry has very therapeutic effects. But if the bayberry is not washed clean, there will be a lot of bugs and some unclean things in it. Eating it can easily cause stomach upset. At this time, Tang Qingyang also ran over and asked about Sibao's situation. Chen Fei picked up Sibao and said to her, Sibao has a stomachache after eating unclean bayberries. Take him to poop. I'll go to the kitchen and make him some herbal medicine to drink. After explaining to Tang Qingyang, Chen Fei went to the kitchen alone. At this point, the situation is clear. Sibao had a stomachache because he ate unclean bayberries, but the problem was not serious. He has found a solution. After entering the kitchen, he opened the cabinet and found some Chinese medicinal materials he needed, such as chuanxiong, Sephora flavescens, Xanthium sibiricum, patchouli, tangerine peel, etc. Take 10 grams of each. Then find the casserole, put the herbs in, and boil over high heat. After boiling over high heat, turn to low heat and simmer for 15 minutes, then pour out the soup. Add appropriate amount of water again, turn to medium heat and continue to simmer for 10 minutes, then pour out the last of the medicine juice. Carrying the boiled herbs, Fei Chen came into the room. At this time, Sibao had finished pooping and was lying weakly on the bed. Tang Qingyang was sitting on the edge of the bed, looking anxious. When she saw Chen Fei come in, she looked at what he was holding with curiosity. What's this? Tang Qingyang had a puzzled expression on her face. Sibao also blinked his eyes, twitched his little nose, looked at Fei Chen and asked, What's in the bowl? It's sweet soup. Chen Fei walked over and said with a smile, You just had diarrhea, you must be thirsty, right? Come, drink this bowl of soup to quench your thirst. Fei Chen sat down beside the bed and blew gently on the medicine in the bowl. Seeing this, Tang Qingyang helped Sibao up. At this time, outside the window, 9 little guys stood there neatly, stretching their necks and looking at everything in the house curiously. Coco whispered, Dad made this sweet soup himself. I want to drink it too. Chen Chen nodded and said, Yes, it looks delicious. It tastes sweeter than grapes. At this time, Baba whispered, Will it really taste good? I just went to the kitchen and took a peek. Dad seemed to have put a lot of strange things in it. It smelled like medicine. The eldest sister Tang Tang immediately glared at Babao and corrected him, There is no smell of medicine at all. This is clearly the smell of sweet soup. I think it smells so good. Wugwa also nodded his head vigorously, Yer. Babao turned his head and looked blankly at the 4 brothers beside him, as if he wanted to ask for their opinions. However, none of them had ever been to the kitchen, so how could they know what Chen Fei used to make this bowl of sweet soup? So, naturally, I cannot give my own opinion. Inside the house, Fei Chen blew gently on the medicine in the bowl. Then he took out a spoon, scooped a spoonful, and put it in his mouth to try it. So sweet tilde. Fei Chen showed a satisfied expression. Seeing Chen Fei eating with such gusto, Sibao also showed an eager expression on his face. Especially when he heard the smacking sound of his brothers and sisters outside, he wanted to drink even more. As if I was afraid that they would snatch it away. Come on, have a drink. Chen Fei scooped another spoonful of medicine and put it into Sibao's mouth. The spoon has just been put in. Sibao couldn't wait to swallow it. Soon, an indescribable taste spread in his mouth. Is this sweet soup? Does he have some misunderstanding about sweetness? But in front of me, the smile on the face of this cheap dad of mine was so warm. It seems that the medicine tastes sweet as well. Outside the window, the children saw Sibao swallowing their sweet soup, and they all swallowed their saliva. They want to drink too. Keek's mouth was watering, and she whispered, Daddy is so good to Sibao. I want to drink sweet soup, too. Sibao looks delicious. Woo woo woo. Just like that, under Chen Fei's routine. A large bowl of Chinese medicine was all drunk by Sibao. No matter whether it is sweet or not, Sibao saw the green eyes of his brothers and sisters outside the window. He began to drink in big gulps. I was afraid that they would snatch it away in the next second. Tang Qingyang, who was sitting on the bed and supporting Sibao, was extremely shocked when she saw this scene. How can Chinese medicine be sweet? Chen Fei is such a bullshit. She sat next to it and could smell the strong aroma of Chinese herbal medicine even without tasting it with her mouth. Unexpectedly, Sibao actually finished drinking it obediently. Don't cry or make a fuss. This is simply amazing. Tang Qingyang looked at Chen Fei with eyes full of admiration and praise. Are you feeling better? Fei Chen put down the soup bowl and asked Sibao. Sibao nodded and felt that his stomach was not as painful as before. Fei Chen patted his little head lovingly and said, "Have a good sleep, and you'll be full of energy again when you wake up." Sibao looked at Chen Fei in front of him and felt indescribably moved. At this moment, his heart began to waver. Tang Qingyang put Sibao down again and covered him with the quilt. After playing for a whole day, Sibao was already tired. After drinking the Chinese medicine, he closed his eyes and fell into a deep sleep. Come outside. Tang Qingyang looked at Fei Chen and asked, "Is the Chinese medicine really effective? Do you want to take Yarn to see a doctor?" "Need not. Sibao, this isn't a serious illness. He just had a stomach upset. I prepared some Chinese medicine for him to soothe his stomach. When he wakes up, he will be full of energy again." Fei Chen waved his hand and said with a smile, "You also know medical skills?" Tang Qingyang asked in surprise. "Of course, I know a lot of things. Medical skills are just one of them," Chen Fei said proudly. After hearing what Chen Fei said, Tang Qingyang felt that he was probably bragging. After all, he knows so many things, including Chinese medicine, which is a skill that requires time to accumulate. How could he possibly master it when he was so young? She thought to herself that maybe Chen Fei just happened to know that there was such a prescription that could cure children's diarrhea. Chapter 28, Trillions of Assets, just given away like that. Dad, the sun is going down. Didn't we agree to go catch shrimps? Just then, Tang Tang ran over and pulled Fei Chen's arm and acted coquettishly. In the afternoon, a few of them kept talking about catching crayfish. Mother Chen also promised them that when the sun goes down, Chen Fei would take them to catch them by the side of his own field. Unexpectedly, they still remember it. Seeing that the children were so happy and wanted to go out to play, Tang Qingyang said to Fei Chen, "You take the children out to play. I will stay at home and take care of Sibao. I'll just help my mom when she comes back from shopping." Chen Fei hesitated for a moment, but finally nodded. After taking Chinese medicine, Sibao is now fine. As long as I go there quickly and come back quickly, I should be able to get back before my parents. So Chen Fei took the children out to catch crayfish. After Chen Fei left, Tang Qingyang's cell phone suddenly rang. She took out her cell phone and took a look, and found that it was her mother calling, and her brows frowned slightly. However, she still answered the call. "Mom." After the call was connected, Tang Qingyang said with some guilt, "Qingyang, tell me the truth, did you find the child's father? And did you let him see the child?" Tang's mother asked directly to the point. We got the certificate today." Tang Qingyang knew that this matter would be exposed sooner or later, so she did not hide it. And after a while, she planned to take Chen Fei to meet her parents. "What?" When Tang's mother heard this, she exclaimed in surprise. Then, as if afraid of being heard, she lowered her voice and said, "Did you get the marriage certificate with him? Or did you get it today?" "Yes, his name is Chen Fei." Tang Qingyang replied indifferently. "Hey, look at you, why didn't you tell mom about such a big thing as getting married? If your father knew about this, he would be so angry that he would faint." "You are really..." Mother Tang was so anxious that her head was about to explode. "My daughter has always been very independent. Relying on his own abilities, he led the company to become one of the Fortune 500 companies and never asked his family for a penny. It can be said that she is an outstanding representative of independent women in the new era. But now, even something as big as getting married hasn't he been told to my family. This is a bit too independent." Mom, Fei Chen is a very nice person. Tang Qingyang frowned slightly and spoke for Fei Chen. I know, you must think he's a good person, so you got married with him. By the way, before getting the certificate, did you go for property notarization? Mother Tang seemed to have suddenly thought of something and asked the question that concerned her most. Yes. Hearing this, Tang's mother breathed a sigh of relief and said, just do it. At least, you won't be cheated of your money or sex. I have transferred all the property under my name to Fei Chen. Now what's mine is his. Tang Qingyang said lightly. R. Mother Tang screamed and jumped up and down on the spot. She now wished she could rush to her daughter, pry her head open, and see what was going on in her mind. He actually transferred all his property to Fei Chen. That's $1 trillion fortune. She actually gave away the entire Xingtang group like that. This is outrageous. Qingyang, how can you be so confused? What happened 3 years ago was a conspiracy. Tang's mother said angrily, how can you just give up the kingdom you worked so hard to build to someone else like this? Mom, Fei Chen is not someone else, he is my husband. Besides, the incident 3 years ago had nothing to do with Fei Chen. He was also a victim. Also, I have already discussed with Fei Chen that he will stay at home to take care of the child full-time until the child is 3 years old. He is a grown man and is willing to give up his job and stay at home to take care of the child. If I don't hand over the property to him, he will feel insecure. Hearing Tang Qingyang's reason. For a moment, Tang's mother didn't know how to refute. But now, what's the point of refutation? It has already happened and no matter how much you say, it will not help. She shook her head and said helplessly, when are you going to bring him back to meet us? When I finish dealing with things here, I will bring him back to see you. Tang Qingyang said. Good. Tang's mother nodded and warned, however, don't tell your father about transferring all your property to Chen Fei for the time being. I'm afraid his blood pressure will rise and he will die. Hearing this, Tang Qingyang felt a little embarrassed. Given her personality, if her dad really asked, she would definitely answer truthfully. But thinking of her father's blood pressure, she hesitated again. Okay, think about it yourself. When will you come back? Listen to mom's instructions. I need to give your dad a heads up first and tell him about your marriage to Fei Chen so that he can get used to it first. Otherwise, if you suddenly bring a man back and say you've got a marriage certificate with him, I'm afraid your dad will be mad and kick Fei Chen out on the spot. Seeing that Tang Qingyang didn't say anything, Tang's mother added. Good. Then I'll hang up first. Tang Qingyang agreed and hung up the phone. The other side. Chen Fei brought the children to the riverside in the fields. Every summer, there are many crayfish here. I remember that when he was a child, he liked to use squid as bait to catch crayfish. Chen Fei walked in front, followed by 9 babies, like a small train. Villagers are busy working in the fields. Seeing this scene, they put down their hoes and greeted Fei Chen. Xiao Fei, are these your children? I heard you gave birth to 10 babies, right? 5 girls, 5 boys. Oh, that's not right, why is there 1 boy missing? Fei Chen smiled and replied, there is another one who is not feeling well and is resting at home. Are you okay? The kind and simple country villagers hurriedly asked with concern. Fei Chen waved his hand and said with a smile, it's okay, I just felt uncomfortable in my stomach. Now I'm fine after taking the medicine. I'm glad you're okay. Chen Fei greeted these uncles and aunts as he walked. Soon, we arrived at the river where I often fished for crayfish when I was a child. Daddy. When can we go fishing for crayfish? Seeing that they had been walking for so long but still hadn't reached their destination, Tang Tang said impatiently. It's almost there, right in front. Fei Chen replied to Tang Tang. Then, the system's voice came out. Bite. Detected that the host brought the baby to fish for crayfish, rewarded with god-level fishing skills. Accompanied by the sound of the system. A large amount of fishing knowledge rushed into Chen Fei's mind, making him a true fishing master. Chapter 29, Meeting a High School Classmate, The Choice of the Class Beauty. A moment later. Chen Fei opened his eyes again. The whole person exudes the aura of a master from the inside out. It's like the peerless hero in martial arts movies, hiding in the fields. A gentle breeze blew, and the seedlings in the rice fields bent down, appearing golden under the setting sun. This further highlights Chen Fei's extraordinariness at the moment. Ba Bao rubbed his eyes, looked at Chen Fei in surprise and said, "Why do I feel like he has become a master?" Liu Bao did not refute this time. He also looked at Chen Fei in surprise, with a puzzled expression on his face. "There was just a gust of wind blowing over here just now, why did my cheap dad seem to have changed?" Fei Chen turned around, looked at the confused children, and said, "Little guys, what are you doing standing there?" The four little guys came to their senses at the same time. She was a little afraid to look directly into Fei Chen's eyes. In front of Fei Chen, they seemed to be naked and could be seen through by him. This man is getting stronger and stronger. "Dad, when do we start fishing?" For some unknown reason, Babao suddenly shouted out this sentence. After shouting, the other three kids all turned around and looked at him. Erbao and Liu Bao looked at each other with hostility. As for Shibao, his face was full of longing and a hint of envy. She actually dared to call that boy daddy so unscrupulously in front of her brothers. "I am so envious." He wouldn't dare to do that. Because he was afraid of being beaten by his two brothers. "Start now. Come here, Dad will teach you how to catch crayfish tilder." Fei Chen touched Babao's head and said to the other kids. Babao walked over first. After calling him daddy, he no longer hid his feelings and openly showed his love for Chen Fei. The other kids also followed over. They all squatted down and surrounded Chen Fei and his fishing rod. As Chen Fei took out the bait, he said, "If we want to catch crayfish, we must first understand their habits, such as what they like to eat, when they eat dinner, etc." "What do crayfish like to eat?" Babao stared at Fei Chen intently and asked curiously. He only knew that he liked to eat crayfish, but he really didn't know what crayfish liked to eat. "Crawfish like to eat offal and stuff." As he spoke, Fei Chen took out some baits such as chopped chicken intestines and chicken livers. String them on the fishing rod and throw them one by one into the river. Then he handed the fishing rods to the children. "Okay, just watch here. If the fishing rod moves, it means there's a crawfish on the hook. Just pull it up." After saying that, Fei Chen left the river and ran to the roadside to wash his hands. Several kids took the fishing rods and stared at the float intently, each with a very serious expression. Chen Fei stood on the side of the road washing his hands. Seeing this scene, a smile appeared on my face. "Hey, isn't that Fei Chen?" The long-legged beauty who had just got off a BMW X5 said in surprise when she saw Chen Fei not far away. Immediately afterwards, a man walked down from the driver's seat. He took off his sunglasses and followed the woman's line of sight. He was slightly surprised. "It's really him. I heard from Lin Jiatao that he went back to his hometown. I didn't expect it to be true. So, are they Fei Chen's 10 babies?" The two of them looked at the few kids standing in a row next to Fei Chen. Each of them holds a fishing rod, looking very cute. "Oh my god, it's true. However, these children don't look young. Didn't Fei Chen just graduate from college? Why is the child so big? I thought it was just born." The man smiled and said sarcastically, "Maybe it was done in college. You weren't allowed to date in high school, so you couldn't help it in college and put all your attention on picking up girls." The long-legged beauty looked a little surprised when she heard this. "No way, he is the top student in our class, and he was also the most popular student in our class. I never thought he would fall. But now that he has just graduated from college, shouldn't he be looking for a job? Why did he return to his hometown with his children?" The long-legged beauty said in surprise again. The man smiled again and said disdainfully, "Do you think it's so easy to find a job these days? His family is not very rich. He can't find a job, and he has to raise 10 children. He must not be able to stay in the city, so he took his wife and children back to the countryside to support them." The long-legged beauty shook her head and sighed, "Oh, what a pity, he's so handsome and he's the top student in our class. I thought he would be able to make a name for himself after going to college. I didn't expect that I would end up going back to the countryside." Thinking back then, she had a crush on Chen Fei. But Chen Fei had always been indifferent to her, so she didn't break the window paper. In the end, she chose the richest man in the class. That is her husband Li Qiong standing next to her now. Li Qiong's family runs a restaurant and owns several houses in the city with assets worth tens of millions. Last year, she gave birth to a son for Li Qiong. Therefore, because of her son's status, her parents-in-law bought her a BMW X5 and a large flat in the city. "Now I have a car and a house, and I live a happy life. Originally, deep down in her heart, she still had some fantasies about Chen Fei. I fantasize about what it would be like if I was with Chen Fei. Will you live a happier life? But now, all the fantasies have been shattered. She was even glad that she didn't keep pestering Chen Fei and keep chasing him. Fortunately, faced with love and money, she chose the latter. It can be said that I did not make a wrong choice. Walk. Let's go over and say hello to him. Li Qiang pressed the car key, locked the car, and said with a proud expression. He is now married to Sun Yuro, the former class beauty. And she gave birth to a big fat boy. After giving birth, Sun Yuro recovered her figure quickly and you can't tell at all that she had given birth. Every time he takes her out, Li Qiang feels very proud. Now, he meets Chen Fei, the top student in school and also the most handsome boy in class. Of course he would bring his wife over to show off. However, Sun Yuro shook her head and declined. Never mind. He is not the same kind of person as us. After all, they now have a car and a house, and they can earn nearly 1,000,000 yuan every year just from the dividends from the restaurant without doing anything. And Chen Fei was just a poor boy from the countryside. So, there is no need to interact. They are unlikely to have any business dealings. Li Qiang heard this and laughed. That's true. But he will also come to the class reunion tomorrow. I'll have a good chat with him then and find out how he got her pregnant when she was still in college. Har har har. As he spoke, Li Qiang was amused by his own sense of humor. Sun Yuro frowned slightly. He didn't like this about Li Qiang. He always spoke rudely and didn't treat himself as a human being when doing that. Unlike Chen Fei, he looks gentle and seems like a warm man. However, she also understood that although Chen Fei looked handsome now, he was also a top student who graduated from a key university. However, he had no money and now had to support 10 children. I guess in a few years, he will become an old and ugly middle-aged man. Therefore, she does not regret her choice.